Hello everyone and welcome back to the potential Crucible Curse special. We'll have to wait and see if the famous myth of the Sheffield is going to come and bite Zhao Zington, because after the first session we certainly have got the scoring in, and it is Zhao Zington that leaves Liam Highfield trailing by 5 frames to 4. Well, very interesting first session to say the least. Loads of action to be coming in. At the same time, you have to say both of the players could have played better. The scoreline probably is going to be an absolute dream world for Zhao Zington, because despite him being nowhere near his best, he still manages to take the advantage out of the opening 9 frames. And now he's going to be 5 frames away from doing better than Luca Brissell and Karen Wilson in the previous 2 times that we've seen a new world champion to appear onto the stage. Of course, he's going to be very much down to trying to break that Crucible curse, which is going to be in the media for 17 days right now, until maybe less if he's going to be eliminated before the final. But ultimately, right now, he comes across as a favourite for the tournament. We've seen some great action of the play already. All of the sessions have been pretty close. and only Mark Williams has managed to take more or less a commanding lead against his opponent in Anthony Kowalski, and managed to win 3 frames on the bounce there after a really good exchange there from the Welshman and the Pole. In the end, it was Williams that takes a 6-3 of a lead into tomorrow's afternoon session out there. Zhao got on battle to try and overturn a 2-0 deficit against Watchalong. Now finds himself leading by 5 frames to 4. And Zhang and Mark Cullen only managed to have 8 frames of action, and Zhang takes a lead against Allen of 5 frames to 3. And then, of course, the match that is about to get restarted at 7 o'clock today. Zhao Xington, the current and the reigning world champion, is going to be up against Liam Highfield. That, you know, listen, if you talk about Highfield, and you have to probably start with him, because he's had a decent run. He's managed to overturn 4-2 and turn it into 5-4 there, which already could be classified as a really good thing for him. But you probably have to say it will be down to Zhao Xington just trying to find that rhythm, which got him into this situation, which is why he's going to have 500,000 worth of ranking points to defend in 12 months' time. He doesn't have any of those to defend for now, but of course, he still wants to try and be the only player. He's managed to be the only player from Asia to win the World Championship in snooker. Can he try and become the first player in the world, better than Hendry, better than Davis, better than O'Sullivan, to try and break that Crucible curse? And despite winning that first round, he's going to be able to win back-to-back titles. And doing that after your first one, he's certainly going to be made for the first time. We've seen a couple of players do that beforehand, where he was, for example, Selby, where he was his second and third in 16 and 17. In the end, didn't really manage to do that with Hendry, although he was close, and still, managed to dominate the 90s, but unable to break that famous thing of the Crucible. And if you talk about Ronnie, then of course 2001 his first title came, and he had to wait for 3 more years in 2004 until he was very much the man to stop at Sheffield one more time. So then for now, just quickly tell you through the way that this session has gone. For the first time, it seems like it was going to be Zhao Xington in cruise control, 2-0 lead, really comfortable. The first frame could have been gone either way. Highfield had a chance to clear up the table, didn't manage to take the rest shot into the corner, and Zhao Xington has managed to clear up with a break of 45 points, being his highest at that stage. And then the second frame was a lot more like Xington that we've seen throughout the good part of the second part of the season here so far, but also what we've seen of him in the World Championship last year as well. A break of 65 points to set up that 2-0 lead, and then a huge titanic battle in the third frame. More than 40 minutes of clash until that fantastic green that Highfield has taken, and followed up by a brilliant brown as well for him to be only 1 frame away from Xington. And then Zhao once again brought out the hard weapon, and it was a very much 3-1 of a gap that he had, of 123 points of a break that he had, and a fantastic way for him to make it a wrap and head off to intermission. Not necessarily the best way to start, with his opponent having a highest break by far for himself, and a break of 86 points, which, as you can still see on your screen, is going to be the highest that we've seen from Highfield. So once again, he was only 1 frame away after 5 of those have been played. 6th frame, a little bit like the first one, where he was going to be heading either way, but in the end, Xington takes it. Now he gets himself 4-2 of a lead, and that pretty much has gone downhill for him ever since that point. Horrible performance in the 7 and 8 frames. Wasn't really blistering breaks or anything like that from Highfield. Just not good enough from Zhao Xington's point of view. And then he's down to the last frame of the session. Is it going to be a 5-4 lead for Xington, or is Highfield going to be able to edge his nose ahead and make it 1 step closer towards potentially making it 3 world champions in a row to be eliminated in the first round? After one of them, he's not even in the main draw here, of course. Wilson is still going to be battling against Stan Moody on Monday, but, Luca Brissell has already lost out to the finalists of 2024, Jack Jones, who will play Mark Selby in the first round. And, that pretty much was a wrap. So, I was just going to say, for Zhao Xington's point of view, for me, from what we've seen this season, from what we've seen last season to an extent at the World Championships, I say to an extent because last season in the Worlds, he was very much playing lights out snooker, where he always had a chance to try and get a couple of frames ahead in the first session or the second session potentially, but he always seems like he was running away from you, and there was nothing that you could do to try and catch him at that stage. So he's not necessarily playing like that now. In the Players' Championship, in the World Grand Prix, in the Tour Championship, he hasn't really played snooker like that. Well, maybe you could say that he's done that in the Tour Championship, but he's managed to play a fantastic snooker against Higgins, against Wakeland, and against Trump, losing out, what was it, around 8 frames to 3 of them in total. 4 to Wakeland, 3 to Trump, and 1 to Higgins. Incredible stuff there from Xington, but it seems like he always has got a little bit of fuel left at the second session, and he always seems to turn on the rich mode, which, gives him more boost to the power and just allows him to accelerate away from his opponents, and especially for Highfield, who's a qualifier. Yes, you could say he's coming into this match a little bit fresh because he's had 4 matches to play, but I might say he's coming into this match a little bit too fresh for that, because certainly from what we've seen in the first session, he hasn't played the snooker like he has in the Institute of Sport in Sheffield, but at the same time, he's got a very unique challenge up against him, and especially, another thing that against Highfield is going to be the factor of he's never managed to win a match at the Crucible. So it felt like it's possible for Highfield to try and win this one, but as I say, for me, he would certainly be down to Zhao Xington to try and take it away and only try and run away from this stage. But listen, it's never impossible for Hive to try and produce an ultimate comeback, because he only finds himself 1 frame down. So my prediction, by the way, for the session, I don't know why I haven't put that in the chat, but I probably would say, to Zhao to take it away quite comfortably. And let's just put the chat here. Lock that one in. Nope. I'm going to lock in. There we go. So, yeah, for me, it is going to be down to 2 factors here in Zhao Xington. Can he try and find his best game? But I'm still going to go for Xington to win, obviously. But which scoreline? Is it going to be 10-6? 10-6 is a bit of a boring score sheet to go for. So I'm going to go 10-5. Risky, but I'll go for it. As I say, he's been playing lights out snooker in the second session consistently, and if you talk about, let's have a little look whilst we have got a couple of minutes before the match gets underway once more. We are going to be joining the broadcast with Barry Hawkins and Matthew Stevens, so they're going to be sharing the arena with us. They're going to be on table number 2. But yeah, ultimately, let's have a look at the way that this season has gone for Zhao Xington in terms of first to 10 matches. Like, you have to start with 3 finals, because these are certainly the most important matches of the whole season for him. And you feel like 5-3 against Trump in the first session you felt like it was a blessing, because once again, he wasn't playing well. And at that stage, he manages to win 5 frames to the bounce. So 5-3 turns into 10-3 of a win. And it was very much Zhao Xington that didn't leave a chance away with Trump. So that was, of course, the most recent win for him, but still very much the one that has to have meant probably the most to him, because he was up against the world number 1. He was at the stage where, the 12 best players of the whole season compete, so you certainly can't say you were lucky with the draw or anything like that. Then we go over to February in, Zhao Xington against John Higgins, back-to-back titles were just after he managed to win the Hong Kong Grand Prix. And this time around, he was 5-4 behind after the 9 frames to John Higgins. So John actually had the upper hand on 5-4, 6-5, and 7-6. But even at 7-6, Zhao Xington manages to win 4 frames on the bounce and leaves Higgins with no chance at all before he wins that match 10 frames to 7. Then we have to go over to the match with Zhang, a great friend of Zhao Xington. It was all smiles after the match was ended, but of course it was all tears for Zhang at that stage for him to try and win the World Grand Prix. Let's have a look at this. So of course it was up against Zhang 10 frames to 6. Despite Zhang having an early lead of 3 frames to 2 out there, it was 5-4 of a session that has finished, but in the end point, once again, Zhao Xington managed to win 5 out of the 7 remaining frames and utilize very much those singular mistakes that we've seen from Zhang as well. And in the end, it was Zhao Xington's story to be written. So those were the 3 finals that we've seen so far this season. But of course, you have to give honourable mentions to another couple of matches. And those two, he's managed to lose in Nanjing and in Shanghai Masters. So very much the 2 Chinese tournaments, as we've seen. He's managed to do it in Hong Kong at the World Grand Prix. But when it comes to a little bit worse side of Zhao Xington, it is going to be all the way down to Nanjing that we have to take you to. And it will be his match against Wu Yize, where he lost out to him, of course, in the Championship League. But more importantly, the last meeting in between the 2 of them, that was in the first to, well, 9 format, sorry. I thought it was first to 10. And it was 9-6 of a loss. But still, I feel like there are going to be similarities there, because 5-4 was the lead for Wu Yize. 4-all it was after the first 8 frames. And then at that point, it was very much Wu Yize that was playing the better snooker throughout the entirety of the day, but especially at the evening session. Zhao Xington had no answer to it and took an 8-4 of a lead. Zhao managed to get 2 of those frames back, but it was never going to be enough to stop that ultimate winning machine that's gone on to defeat John Higgins and win the final. And then, of course, at the Shanghai Masters, once again, the first tournament of the season. At that stage, you feel like you just became the world champion. You're going to be against the world champion of the previous season. And what's it going to be for you in the semi-final? Well, I'll tell you what it was. There was a fantastic win for Wilson, but at the end point, it was 5-4 of a lead that Zhao Xington had. And he lost out 6 frames on the bounce, where Wilson was the one taking full charge of the game and didn't leave Zhao Xington a singular chance on his way to the ultimate win in the semis, and then of course defeating Ali Carter in the final as well. As we're still going to have a little bit of a wait. Certainly something that we have seen a couple of times beforehand, where you still need to do all the interviews there. People haven't actually gone into the arena with full numbers as well. But ultimately, I think that has to be said probably about Liam Highfield as well, because he has managed to have a really good campaign in the qualifiers. I'm not going to say that he's done that in the second session, to be fair, because I feel like the majority of the matches that he's played, he had an early advantage from pretty much from the get-go. Of course, his latest loss still comes to John Higgins in the 16th of March, so more than a month ago. And then, of course, playing on the 8th, 11th, 13th and 15th of April. 4 long-term matches there, 40 frames that he had to win. And then, of course, still 15 frames that he had to lose during those 4 matches. Only 2 of them against Oliver Lyons in the Judgment Day in the most convincing of those wins. Then Steve Maguire was defeated by 10 frames to 5. And, of course, Wang Yushen and Oliver Brown were defeated with the same scoreline of 10 frames to 4. So that's no longer going to be the case. And if he is to try and turn up with the ultimate Karen Wilson performance, he could still try and win 6 frames on the bounce and make it 10-5 a win for himself. But you feel like at this stage, it's something that probably is not going to happen. And more realistically, he needs to try and take this one away in a frame-by-frame basis, I would say, because down to the last couple of frames, if he manages to bring the game down to 7-6 and he's behind or he's ahead, this is where potential pressure and all that talk is potentially going to get to Zhao Xington. Only he will know if he's going to be feeling it or he's going to be able to handle that one as a true champion. But listen, one thing I'll say, and I'll stand by it, I feel like, the fact that we've seen Zhao Xington right now as the world number 4, the top seeded player, he's managed to get probably certainly the worst rated qualifier. And I say that based on the ranking. As I say, his campaign in the qualifiers has been brilliant. But you feel like that probably was the perfect starting point for him, because it's not going to say it's the same style, but it's similar approach that Highfield takes to try and, take the snooker away from his opponents. And at the same time, you feel like, well, this was maybe the chance for Zhao Xington to try and exploit his game, take it to a whole new level, whilst not necessarily being up to March sharpness, because, of course, he would have not have played a match for pretty much 2 weeks ever since his pretty much 1-session triumph against Judd Trump, where he managed to completely destroy the world number 1. That will be back on Tuesday against Gary Wilson. By the way, talk about Gary Wilson, could have easily been Shu Si that would have been lined up with Judd Trump at the end point. That's no longer going to be the case, and Trump will have to try and make it against, very much Gary Wilson out there. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the highest ranked player, although he has lost some of those ranking points. of course, in 2024 there. So he will be down to the world number 27 right now. So it's not the best, but could have been worse. Just ask Jack Jones with all the ranking points that he could still try and potentially lose. As Wilson, meanwhile, is actually going to rise to the world number 24, which is surprising because I'm pretty sure he had a decent run at the, what's it called? At the 2024 World Championship. But of course, Gilbert is going to be another one that suffers quite massively because, he would have been lined up in the World 25. He's dropped down all the way to the world number 30 right now after losing out on, what is it, seeming like 80,000 worth of ranking points, and it is. Because now he's going to be still in the main draw after he managed to climb his way back through the qualifiers. But still, at the same time, he needs to try and desperately find a little bit of form there, which will allow him to try and take it away to a whole new level. So still, seems like, I don't know whether that's the thing out there, but it seems like all those matches are going to be getting delayed. We didn't really see a delay like that in the 230 of Anthony Kowalski and Mark Williams, but still, Hawkins against Stevens, he's going to be a little bit slow to get underway. And at the same time, well, you may as well, if that's going to be the case, you may as well just have a look at the draw and just point out the predictions for me, because once again, this is not going to be based on the current score sheet. So, Zhao against Liam Highfield, I'm going to go for 10-5. I'm going to stick with that. Then Ding Zhou against David Gilbert. It's going to be interesting, but I don't really believe in that Gilbert form. I've seen it. A little bit too inconsistent for me. He had a good win against Aaron Hill, but probably not enough to beat Ding Zhou, although Ding will have to play well for my prediction to work out. So I'll probably say Ding 10-7, 10-6, 10-7 in the end. So, then Xiao Godun and Joey Long out there as well. Oh, I mean, it's going to be really hard to try and get over the crowd here in terms of the noise, but listen, it's the small venue here in Sheffield. You don't realise how small it is until you compare it to the other ones. How on earth did they manage to put 2 tables in here? He's going to be absolutely beyond me. But anyway, Sal got on against Joey Long. I mean, I was going to say Sal was to batter him. 10-6 to me. Murphy against Fang Jingyi. I'm going to go for an upset. I'm going to say this one is going to go the distance. Fang Jingyi to beat Sean Murphy and get himself through to an old Chinese derby. Probably the biggest, surprise and unexpected prediction, I would say. Higgins against Carter. It's a difficult one, because Higgins not necessarily been the most consistent player for me recently. As I say, he's got a fantastic performance against Selby, and then he managed to have a stinker like that against Zhao, only winning one of those frames against the Cyclone. But right now it's going to be, I'd probably say Higgins wins that one, 10 frames to 8. Then Ronnie O'Sullivan against Shea Gauchon. That's going to be 10 frames to 4. Ronnie should take that one away comfortably. Chris Wakelin against Liam Pullen. 2 great friends. I feel like they're not really going to be friends on that particular night. Chris Wakelin to beat Liam Pullen, 10 frames to 6. Robertson against Pang Jingsu, same scoreline. And once again with the top seeded player, Robertson against Chris Wakelin in the second round. Then Wilson against Stan Moody. Ooh, this is interesting because I said Moody can actually outscore Wilson. I'm not sure if he can try and outplay him, but it's certainly going to be a great thing to watch there, especially to play either Zhang or Allen in the second round. I'm going to go for Wilson to win that match 10 frames to 5. Stan, he's been playing really well, but I feel like he's not going to be able to sustain that consistency that we've seen glimpses of so far in the qualifying matches. So then that moves me on to the Mark Allen against Zhang. And I always said Zhang will win that one. Not been impressed with Allen recently. And I would say 10 frames to 7 in favour of Zhang. Hawkins against Stevens. Interesting thing, but I feel like especially with Hawkins winning the Welsh, he's probably going to have the upper hand on that one. 10 frames to 4. I'm going to go for a little bit of a battering there. Williams against Kowalski, same, 10-4. He was, well, to be fair, I've seen what we've seen in the first session. So if I wasn't going to change it, I'd go for 10-4. But if I was to make an adjustment, I would say 10-5. I feel like Anthony's going to be able to get at least 2 more frames in, but Williams is going to be way too strong for him. Selby against Jack Jones. It'll be fun to watch from a neutral's perspective. I feel like Jones needs to try and outplay Selby and make sure he actually brings him out of his comfort zone into his own world. So if he plays snooker like he had against Brissell, it's a difficult one to call, because I'm going to go for Jones. Not been impressed with Selby recently at all. I mean, that form that he had at the Champion of Champions of the UK seems like it's long gone. And yeah, Jones for me, 10-8. Weezer against Li Pei Fan. That's going to be the battle and the repetition of the Scottish Open in 2024. I feel like Weezer is going to be way too consistent for Li Pei Fan. As much as, he's had a couple of really good wins at the Crucible, I feel like Weezer is going to be a potential year for him to try and step out of his shadow at the Crucible and try and make it at least into the quarterfinals. And Zhao against Hossein Wafai. I would say Zhao to win that one. I've seen all the hype for Hossein, but I feel like he's yet to meet a really good opposition player so far in the qualifiers, with all the respect to Gao Yang and Michael Sabarchuk, but it's a whole different level when you enter the top 32. So Zhao 10-6. And then Judd Trump against Gary Wilson. I'm actually going to say this one is going to go the distance. And I expect Trump to take the second decider of the season. And that's going to be 10 for Trump, 9 for Wilson. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Gary is to beat Judd Trump and very much, once again, make it a horrible thing for the world champion of 2019. And now we are going to be finally introducing the players 11 minutes in. It is going to be Matthew Stevens to make an appearance here onto the arena. Once again, his match is going to be held on table number 2. And this is going to be Stevens against Hawkins. So still going to be great entertainment. The finalists of 2000 and 2005 up against the winner, not the winner, of the Welsh Open, you could say. And certainly the finalist of the World Championship in 2013. The famous one where, Ronnie managed to miss out the whole season and still managed to come back and defeat Barry Hawkins quite confidently in the final. But now he is the Hawk himself after a fantastic win against Jack Lisowski. He is going to have not an easy draw, but I would expect him to try and fly through this one. 10 frames to 4, I said. Barry needs to play consistently well for him to make that happen. But one thing I've actually forgotten about is that Stevens was playing really well against Bingham. And, every single time there was a chance left out for him. I mean, remember the 9th frame where he incredibly managed to, win that frame away from Bingham despite Stewart having all the advantage in the world at that stage and make it a wrap for the first session. Now it's going to be Hawkins against Stevens. That completes the introduction of the world number 11 and the world number 48. And now the world number 92, the lowest ranking player of the whole Crucible setup, is going to be up against the world number 4. And the top seeded player, for now it is going to be the story to try and write for Liam Highfield, because for now he manages to find 4 of those frames to be won. He needs to try and have 6 more on his way to be delivering probably the biggest upset of the World Championship that could not have been matched in the first round already. It is going to be Liam Highfield to try and make his way onto the table 1 format. And so now it is going to be down to Zhao Xington. 50-50, Zhao is not playing well. Listen, he's not playing well right now because he's still yet to make his way onto the arena. I always say, expect the unexpected from the Cyclone, but ultimately, always expect a step up from the world champion. He's not managed to win the whole thing last year for no reason. Now, he's going to try and make the first step towards potentially retaining that crown and becoming the first player ever to try and do that. It's going to be the first round, and he needs to try and win 5 more frames on his way to be defeating Liam Highfield and make his way into the second round match, either with Ding Zhuwei or David Gilbert. For now, the setup is here. The referee of the Rupp Spencer is going to be here as well. And now it is going to be down to the 2 players. Only one of them will progress to the second round. And then, of course, it will be the first player of the second round to appear at all, because the match that has already started is going to be finished, all of them, tomorrow, with Zhang against Allen, Mark Williams against Anthony Kowalski, and then Xiao Guoran against Joey Long. But this one is about to get underway, and the 10th frame is about to get started. Now, yeah, there was a little bit of the announcement going on, but hopefully it wouldn't be coming back when the match is being played. So right now, it is Liam Highfield to take a break-off shot and to hopefully for himself try and make it a lot more comfortable in terms of his own game. Can't control what Zhao is going to do, but one thing that he's absolutely going to try and achieve here is the end result. When is the match starting? Right now. And I don't know why it has taken us 50 minutes to get this match underway, but I suppose that's going to be down to BBC because of the coverage that they get is going to be limited. So you feel like if the coverage starts at 7, you're going to do all the interviews, all the previews at 7 o'clock, and then the whole walkout is going to be at 10 minutes past. So I'm going to bear that in mind for the next couple of rounds as well. But for now, it is Zhao to try and play his first shot of the second session. And certainly played that one aggressively and didn't play that one well, you know. It's going to give a chance away to Liam Highfield and potentially could try and get an early lead here in the 10th frame. As I say, could be seeing 10 more frames, including this one, if the match is to go the distance. I'm pretty sure the match of Luca Bracero against David Gilbert has. And I certainly know for a fact that match of Karen Wilson against Li Beifan has gone the distance in the first round after winning the World Championship 12 months before that. So Highfield right now is going to be very much aware of the factor of him being where he is. 1 frame behind. He's always been looking to try and get that gap down to. Hasn't led in this match so far since going 2-0 down. Managed to bring it down to 4-all draw before losing out on the 9th frame. And now he's going to have an early chance here to be given. And straight away, I feel like he's underrun for this pink slightly. Because you know, he's got the natural angle to try and force that cue ball to the top end of the table, but not to the bottom, which feels like he's going to try and take this one around the globe. Misses the green, misses the blue, and as long as he hasn't overplayed this one, he seems to have been alright. It's not really, to be honest with you. He has overplayed for the red into the right corner. I'm pretty sure he can't see the one that is going to be closer to the pocket, so he has to try and take the more awkward of a cut. Try and play for the blue. It depends on the amount of power that he puts into the shot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take those ones into the bold colours. Well, he's had to use the entirety of the pocket, but at the end point, the red does drop in, and he's played that one with very much minimal pace. And now we'll be down to the blue about to be taken here into the left middle. And Liam just having a look to see. The situation with those reds is going to be the biggest problem here because he's got the black to be available pretty much freely into the right corner. Not so much into the left part of the table, but there's still going to be positions for that cue ball to try and place it so that the black is going to be potable. For now, just carefully taking the blue. Make sure he holds that cue ball with just about enough pace for it to be lined up for another red. About to be taken into the right-hand side of the table. Now, straight away, it seems like Highfield has asked the cue ball to be cleaned. In the meantime, let's have a look if we've seen an early start in the match of Hawkins against Stevens. Yeah, as I say, I feel like Stevens has played well, to be fair, so I wouldn't say he's going to be out of the blue for him to completely destroy Hawkins, but for now, it is Barry that takes an early lead, and he's going to have 25 points as the advantage, and has got his name as very much the winning force of the first frame of the match. For the time being, Highfield still looking to try and make the most out of the opportunity that landed for himself. So overplay for the black here, though. He needs to try and take that cue ball into those reds whilst making sure he concentrates on the pot enough there. He got the pot in, but I'm not sure what he's got available in terms of those reds. And, well, it seems like he's managed to have a straight line of those to be covering up by one another. And at the end point, he's got 2 options here in terms of the attacking. He's got a shot into the left middle, which, I mean, you feel like that cue ball is going to be going into a safe place, but in reality, it won't be. And then he's got a shot into the right middle. I mean, the shot into the right middle is a lot more lenient, that you could say, towards Highfield because, you know, it's a lot closer to the pocket and the angle is going to be in favour of the cue ball. But the factor of, you know, him having to bridge over the reds might not really help the case. So let's see what's it going to be now for him. Try and get really low on the cue ball. So he's going to go for the more difficult option. This could easily be missed, but it won't be, it would seem. Has he faded? Has he faded? Ooh, I tell you what, not necessarily happy with that one. And so he shouldn't be. I'd like to see that on the replay, but that's going to be the end of a break. Let's have a look. To me, Yeah, I mean, come on, that's unfortunate, that, because he was heading straight to the heart of the pocket, and in the end, it just faded away towards the front jaw. So, not necessarily a good look, but once again, you have to sometimes play to the strengths of the table, and Zhao is now going to have a really good opportunity to try and get this frame to be won, get himself back within 2 frames away there of Highfield, and potentially make it very much his match to lose all over again. Because this is what we've seen in the first frame. Highfield just not taking his chances for one or the other reason. And then, in majority of those situations, we've seen Zhao to capitalize on them. Not all of them, but you feel like the frames that he's lost, he probably lost a lot more comprehensively to Highfield, because the 4 that Liam has won, the 2 that he's managed to win after being 4-2 down were absolutely, you could not contest them. The 3rd one could have been won by either party, but probably Xington was the one making just too many of those errors at that stage. And now, once again, another red is about to disappear into the left part of the table here from Zhao Xington. Just carefully getting himself lined up for the black one more time. And the worst news for Highfield is that mistake came out absolutely out of nowhere. There was no need to be making any more improvements to the position. And look at that nice little kiss for Zhao. He knew he would have plenty of those reds to have available in case of something going wrong there. In the end, nothing's gone wrong. And it seems like probably something that you could say about the second part of this frame. Because 24 points later, Highfield finds himself behind in no time at all, but also he's got Zhao in a prime position here in terms of getting over the line. Make that 29 as the blue is going to disappear. Could still potentially, of course, be a century break, and I wouldn't certainly put that out of the equation. With how well Zhao can try and control the cue ball sometimes, and especially this being a potential new era in relation to the first session. I'm pretty sure, apart from that break of 123 points, maybe the break of 77 points as well, it is going to be a session to forget for him. But as I always said, the best news about that session is that he's still, not only did he not lose that session, but he's actually managed to get himself edging out ahead. And now looking to try and extend that advantage even further. Depends on which red he was playing for. It's overrun slightly for the red into the left middle, but at the same time, he's going to have an easy red available at the right part of the table here. So it's just going to be down to, seeing which color is he going to try and play for. Decided not to risk holding that cue ball for the black, so just carefully make his way through the right side cushion and get himself lined up for the blue. About to be taken into the left middle. Carefully take that one and then follow up with the red, which is going to finish over the left middle. So, just right now, all down to potentially making it the first break of 50 plus there for the second session. It's now going to be the break of 42 points from Zhao. We've seen 3 of those breaks of 50 plus, 65, 77, and then, of course, 123 of a break in frame number 4. It seems like he's played a bit of a horrible shot there. Repeats that break of 47 as the 4th highest made so far in the match, but if he was playing for the red next to the pink, he's underplayed for that one massively. And if he was lining up for the red into the right corner, closer to the right side cushion, then he has overplayed for that one. So in the end, was able to take the red away, but still wants to try and recover with the pink about to be taken into the right part of the table. He's able to do so. The cue ball is going to be running towards the pocket though. He needs it to slow down, and he won't. A bit of a weird mistake that from the world champion, because it is going to be a break of 48 points, but at the end point, it is going to be Zhao to give a turn away to Liam Highfield, give a ball in hand away, and right now it will be down to Liam to try and make the most out of this one now. 21 points behind, 59 points left, and I said there was going to be a potential chance for Zhao to try and make a century out of it for a reason. It's that apart from the red that he's managed to put somewhat safe towards the left-hand side of the table, certainly got the other 3 to be available there for Highfield. So now he's going to be down to Liam to try and make the first shot in. Is he going to try and go for the red next to the pink? About to try and pot it into the right part of the table. Seems like he's gone for it. He's going to be close, and the red is going to be in. So now, is he going to have a lucky kiss on the blue? It's not bad, because he's not really going to be shorting points. And at the same time, he's going to have to try and take it with the green or the yellow here. Not too sure on which one is it going to be. You probably would expect the shot. Yeah, the referee there just making sure that the earpieces are not going to be turned up to the full volume, because Highfield clearly reporting that, you know, you can hear some of it, which is not nice. As a player, you want to, of course, concentrate on 100% on what's going to be happening ahead of yourself at the table. So, yeah, just having one more look to see in relation to the green about to be taken into its own pocket, and carefully guide that cue ball towards one of those biggest problems there with the Reds, because, you know, the one that he was actually able to take, as much as it was a horrible shot for you to be taking on, it was probably one of the easiest Reds that you could possibly dream around, if you compare it to the other three. So right now, it will be down to Liam try and take the red along the right side rail, play for the black clearly, so that he's going to have a chance to try and make his way onto one more red. Of course, he hasn't got a great history so far in the match of the red shots. This one, certainly going to make the target. He doesn't want to be on a lower side of a black though, because as much as he can try and play for another red to be taken into the left corner, you probably feel like it's not going to be the best thing in the world that could have happened to him, because you want to take the easy red away first. And yeah, of course, it's not really going to help the factor of him taking that red away and then still having to try and play for the black all the way. So, yeah, he's thinking about to try and go for the pink, which it wouldn't really solve all of his issues, but at least it would get him closer towards that red from the left-hand side of it. So just carefully trying to take the pink away. He needs that cue ball to keep running. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not a nice position for you to be lined up with. And he probably has got around 2 or 3 shots to try and win it from this stage in relation to the frame, because the remaining colours are all going to be on their spots, and the blue is still going to be out of position, but very much possible into the middle. A great thing for Highfield now, of course, he's going to be able to take this red away without needing the rest, which, well, I thought he was going to make it, you know, but at the end point, it seems like he's actually managed to get away with missing that red. Had a massive double kiss, and yeah, he just caught a little bit of that front jaw, but in the end proved to be costly, and still managing to have that red very much on the blackboard cushion there. It's not going to be too nice of a position to give away, but certainly something that you take when being 5-4 down. So once again, over to you, Zhao. And let's see what Zhao is going to be able to try and perform here, because he probably have to put this one down to having to get that cue ball into a safe position, although he didn't get the red into a safe position there, you would seem. Has he managed to do that? Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be touch and go, but I feel like he's put that red over the left middle, which is not going to be a great boost to his chances of winning the frame. Yeah, he's just having a bit of a look to see Highfield, because as much as this red is over the pocket, it still needs to be taken care of, but also it needs to try and get on the collar pretty well, so that he's going to be getting that cue ball to be positioned for the last of those reds, which he missed, and then of course still had that red to be lined up at the lower end of the table. So yeah, he needs to try and take this one with no pace. I mean, that's a nasty shot for you to be lined up for the pink, but at least he got the red in. This pink, for me, is probably the point where it can go right or go wrong. Not even sure you are going to try and play, you know, the attacking shot. He's potentially thinking about a safety, you know. Well, it's going to be a bit extreme, I would say. As much as you can't afford to miss the pink, surely you give yourself a little bit of credit there to try and get this pink in. Well, the answer seems to be no. And unless he takes the yellow, I'd say it's a pretty negative approach there from Highfield, because, you know, he doesn't find himself 10 frames behind. It's only 5-4. And for me, if he does lose this frame after he goes defensive, it will be a horrible thing for him to do. So does he go for this yellow? No, he doesn't. So yeah, a surprise for me, but maybe he knows something about that red's position that I don't. But to me, it just seems like he's blown away a potential chance of winning the frame here with the total clearing. Because listen, if that pink is all you have to do to win the frame, then I'll tell you what, you probably take that. But whatever it was, he certainly didn't feel about it. But we'll see what's going to happen on the first shot here of Zhao. So maybe he feels like he's going to be able to force him into it. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, it certainly does seem like he's proven me wrong there quite badly, because that red was put over the green pocket, and right now it does certainly come across as very much the right decision there from Liam Highfield. And there was a little bit of swerve there from Zhao. It certainly wasn't enough to prevent that cue ball from falling into the left corner. And now setting that red to go all the way towards the green pocket. This could easily be an absolute masterclass there from Highfield. And I said, if he wasn't going to win the frame, he would be kicking himself. For now, seems like he's about to do everything right here. And, well, only a single point of a break, but already finds himself just 4 points behind. He'll bring himself back level after the brown. And then he'll need the blue to be the frame ball. And just carefully positions that brown to be taken into the green pocket. Would have liked to be on the lower side of the yellow here, at least not too straight with it. Because if anything, to me, it seems like he's got the angle to try and take that cue ball down to the lower side of the table, not necessarily the top side of it. So he's got two options. He can try and keep that cue ball where the yellow is, which he's decided to go for. A little bit surprised with that, because I felt like, the shot with backspin and try and bring that cue ball closer to the green would have been a little bit more logical, because right now the green has to be taken, but also you need to get some cueing on that cue ball. And it's not great, but it's not bad. The reason why I say it's not great is because the blue is out of position. As much as he's going to be over the middle, you still need to try and take that one away, whilst having a good angle to try. And, well, he doesn't technically have to play for the pink, because he would be 14 points clear and 13 at the table. So right now it's going to be down to take the blue and the brown, and then it is going to be 5 frames each after the first 10 of the World Championship and at the World number 92. So what's it going to be on the brown? He seems like he's taken loads of time on this one, clearly thinking about the position on the blue. He still needs to get the brown in. And he played that shot around the house. And he's going to leave himself a little bit nasty place there, Not sure if that was the intention, but it's going to be anything but easy from this stage to try and take that blue as a frame ball, because it's going to be dead straight as well, which doesn't really help the case. So then, it was a really good brown, but that thing of going around the house doesn't seem like it's worked out perfectly well. This blue needs to be taken care of. He doesn't have to worry about the pink. Has he got it? Yes, he does. Yes, he has got this one in. The cue ball is going to stay out. And now 14 points of a gap. Zhao will try and do something about it. But, this was the exact thing that he has refused. So this is going to be very interesting to see if after all that, he's going to be able to end the frame with pretty much an identical shot on the paint, the one that refused. It is going to be a great break of 25 points, which gets Liam Highfield back level with Zhao. And, well, I'll tell you what, this is probably about as close as we've seen anyone to get to Zhao last season at the World Championship. Yes, Li Beifan managed to find his way all the way back there to 12-10 before losing out 13-10 at the end point of the second round. But right now, it is going to be down to potential charge there from Liam Highfield to try and take this one away there. Excellent commentary. You described all the action perfectly. Thank you very much there. But it's a great match, and as I say, something that I certainly did not expect to be seeing there. So much of a challenge to be put towards Zhao. But for now, Highfield seems like he's managed to, bring his own world towards Zhao, and certainly seems like it's worked out for now. Because I'll tell you what, after the first 10 frames, if anyone offered you to try and take it down to 5 frames each, I say you take it. From Highfield's perspective, and Hawkins, despite having an early break of 30 points, he wasn't able to make that one to last enough, and the break of 61 points from Stevens make sure it is going to be Matthew that takes the lead in the first frame. So Barry's going to find himself on the receiving end of things. Unreal Zhao is still not playing well. Last tournament he played amazing. This shouldn't be close. Oh, sorry to say, very disappointing. It seems like Well, once again, if you're going to have another comment like that, you will be gone because, listen, it's his first match as the World Championship at the Crucible. I don't really remember same comments to be made against Luca Broussel, against David Gilbert, and also against Karen Wilson when he was playing his match against Li Beifan. And once again, all that work in the comments, he's not even losing. Yes, it's now 4-all. Yes, it's now 5-all, but he has still not had a period in this match where he was even a frame down. I'm not even talking about being anywhere near the guaranteed position of him losing this match away from Highfield. And, right now, it is going to be 128 in terms of the odds for Zhao Xingtong to be the winner of the match, 375 for Liam Highfield. So it's still possible for Highfield to try and make 5 out of those 9 frames be won, but before that point, I feel like you have to put respect on Zhao Xingtong's name, and he's about to break off, and once again, super close to the blue, but this time around, he got one of those reds to be very close towards the right side, and he's not going to have that one to be given away to Highfield. So Liam is about to study the position of those reds at the lower end of it, because he's managed to separate the reds pretty well, Zhao Xingtong, because neither of them has gone to try and cover the black. Potentially would have the paint to be playable into the left middle as well, which helps the case as well. But ultimately, it is now try and take charge of this one, Highfield, because he's been, of course, he was a 0-0 draw, he was a 4-all draw, and now it's going to be 5 frames each. Can he try and make it on the third time to be the one that is leading this match? Oh, this is going to be a great fluke if it lands in, and it wasn't going to be a great fluke. Great control on the cue ball though, and despite bringing that red to the top end of the table, you're still going to have a red to be taken into the right-hand side here. So, it's going to be very interesting to see there from Zhao Xingtong's point of view. Is he going to try and attempt this red? Well, he has, but clearly played that one into the front jaw in case he misses it, so that he wasn't going to leave that red away. And in the end, it is going to be just back down to Highfield and try and make this one past the right corner. We've seen Williams to go for a similar shot like that, but didn't really end with loads of good things that have happened to him in relation to missing out on that red and leaving out a chance for Kowalski so far in the opening part of their match. So Highfield just decides to try and play it safe. Of course, we are now going to be to the stage where those shots can try and potentially prevent that horrible kick-in form there for Zhao Xingtong, which could still potentially be very much the end of Liam Highfield. Because so far, in the World Snooker Tour, we haven't seen anyone that has been able to deal with that. When Zhao Xingtong has been on fire, no matter how well you play, you're simply going to find yourself with one hand tied behind your back, if not 2 of them. So, he's probably about to try and go into the middle of the of those reds. Once again, only 20% that you can see of a safety success, and it's not going to improve here. It's about to be down to 15% or something, because Liam Highfield will find himself with a chance here to try and be ahead in this match for the first time, by the way, since, to me, that first frame encounter. There were a couple of brief moments in the 9th frame, but all of them have been pretty much helped on by the factor of Zhao Xingtong taking that early lead and just trying to hold on to it at the end point. So now Highfield potentially could have a little bit of pressure of his own to try and taste. He's probably going to be way more experienced to be feeling that sort of pressure when he finds himself ahead in the match for the first time. But listen, it's going to be a great opportunity to try and win a couple of those opening frames away, take a 6-5 or even a 7-5 frames of a lead, and at that stage, you certainly have to start asking questions of whether Zhao Xingtong can try and hang on to this one, because for now, the red is about to disappear into the left corner here. So top spin required here for the cue ball, and carefully try and make his way towards the black ball spot. Doesn't want to be on the lower side of it this time, although it feels like at this stage it doesn't really matter, but the red that I meant and was talking about just gets it in your vision a little bit. May have to try and take that one away if he doesn't like it. And then, of course, if he goes for an alternative version, which he hasn't gone for, he could have easily played for a couple of those reds to be lined up to the left corner. But for now, as I suggested, just taking that red away from the black ball cushion so that you don't have to, worry about it if you play that shot with the cue ball. gives you more room to maneuver, but ultimately it shouldn't be too difficult of a position. And nicely hugs that front jaw without touching it. And make sure he's still going to be slightly on the lower side of a black, which allows him to carefully play this shot through the cue ball. Make sure he's going to be lined up for the reds to be taken into the left part of the table again. Nicely played there for Highfield, just taking that pace away from the cue ball in those key moments. He's going to be a great addition there to, just fill your queuing, feel like you're playing well. At the same time, try and keep Zhao sat in his seat for pretty much as you can out there. For now, it's going to be 25 points on the break from Highfield. That finds himself with a really good chance right now, I would say, to try and, for the first time in the match, be the one setting up the pace to this encounter. And, of course, he's going to be the closest that we've seen anyone to get to be beating Zhao, apart from maybe John Higgins, that had a 7-6 frames of a lead. Especially when he comes to the final. But this one is going to be anything but the final appearance. But at the same time, it's going to be the first of 10 matches still to be played. Highfield makes a bit of a mistake there. There's a hole in your glove there, referee, Rob Spencer. Should be careful about that one so he doesn't develop too much. And, but he didn't have to play that cue ball so far away from those reds. I'm not sure if he was trying to open up the angle and get in behind the red that he's going to be so close to. Could have easily taken that one into the middle, but of course with how close he is, he's going to have to try and go for a plan B. So keeping it on the black for now as well, which I'm pretty sure it is going to be a bit of a ridiculous point, but we've seen that with Karen Wilson against Ryan Day in the first round. TNT posted that on their social media recently, saying that he was in the final, which I found ridiculous. I mean, it clearly says 19 in the, in the maximum number of frames for you to be played, but also Ryan Day didn't really make the final in a recent couple of years of the World Championship, did he? So that was a really poor thing from them, but we could see a maximum here, or at least a maximum. I say that were really ordinary, but we could see a bit of a maximum attempt here, because right now it's 5 reds, 5 blacks, and let's see the way that he's going to go on about the business. Gives a little nudge towards the red to get it away from the cue ball, which at this stage is still going to be a bonus, because he clears the way for Highfield and allows him to be lined up for the red, about to be taken into the right-hand side of the table here. So just carefully take that red away into the corner. Make sure you play for the black one more time. And then the thing about those reds next to the pink is that majority, not all of them, probably not all of them, but majority, and there's certainly going to be 1 or 2 that you can try and take away without even touching the main part of those reds. So just try and take those loose reds away, and at that stage, you're probably going to be winning the frame at that visit to the table. So, about to make it the 3rd highest break of the match there achieved for him, of 48 points. And now it's going to be down to, well, it's a decision there to be made. Do you want to try and go for that, very much phantom 147, or do you sort of leave yourself to be in a reality? Well, it seems like I was going to say, you can't be playing for the black from here. You need to be playing for the blue. And that's exactly what he's done. Yeah, once again, you need to try and put that into perspective. He's not a 7-time world champion looking to try and make it to the exhibition point. He hasn't gone past the first round of the Crucible in his career. And it's probably the closest that he's ever got to it. Certainly on my memory. Because he always came into the Crucible as a qualifier. And, sometimes as a qualifier you get handed in really top-seeded players, really tough top-seeded players' draws. So if he gets himself a 6-5 of a lead, well, 6-5 is not really a problem. 7-5 is where I'd probably say, you know what, this is potentially could be one of those matches where we never see Zhao to kick into that power. So he has to try and do that right at the end, which is going to be risky. Or he needs to just try and grind this one out. You can see how his break of 86 points there, achieved in that frame number 5, I'm pretty sure. As soon as the intermission was over, there was an early chance for Zington that wasn't able to take it. Oh, look at that. That's a horrible mistake there. Twice he's missed that yellow there, Highfield, into the same pocket off the spot. I can't remember the first one, but he was in the 9th frame or something. But, wow, that was horrible. A break of 55 points. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. Just overcut that yellow just about enough there for it to stay at the table. And Zhao Xington, well, if he's going to be anywhere near the form that he's been showing at the World Championship, then he punishes you for fun when you make a mistake like that. Well, this is going to be the real... It just reminds you of that mistake from Zhang Anda at the World Grand Prix, where he didn't manage to take that red into the right corner, and then I'm pretty sure he was at 6-5, allowed Zhao Xington to be getting more than 2 frames ahead, and then just, never recovered from that really, Zhang. And it's all gone downhill for him. Could it be the point where the world champion steps up from his own shadow and makes this break the one that counts? Because apart from 4 reds that he's got to be alongside the pink, he's got 1 to be on the right side rail. He could try and float that one into the corner. It's a little bit risky, but at that stage, are you going to be up for trying to make that contact with the red? Because I'd probably say it's just about close enough to the pocket for it not to be worth for you to try and make contact with it, especially with the yellow being over the pocket. You could say whatever you like about it, but I'm probably going to say he's going to be working out to the advantage of Xington, as much as he still needs to get on the green, no doubt about it, but all you have to do is basically bring that cue towards the left-hand side of the table, somewhat close to the yellow that he can, and then he should be lined up for taking the green here. But it seems like he's struggling here a little bit. It's a bit of a stop-start on the break, taking way too much time in comparison to the shots that he's been taking on the previous session, and just when he's in full flow. Now he's straight on the pink, which was the last thing that he would have liked to be. And, well, he had to play a very close of a maneuver shot, and it seems like he's played that one a little bit too close to the red, so I'm not sure if he can try and cut this one into the corner. But the body language certainly suggests that he's about to have the break to be ended. Once again, something that we haven't seen at all for him. Zhao Xington to let you off with a mistake like that, which Highfield has achieved, which is unacceptable at any point, missing the yellow like that, but running yourself out of position on those 3 of those reds, it's probably going to be just about as much of a mistake from Zhao's point of view, for how much of a great chance he had to try and return himself back to the winning ways and take a 6-5 of a lead in comparison to Liam Highfield. So for now, still advantage Liam, because he doesn't need to worry about that red over the right corner, over the right side cushion, I should say. And Zhao Xington hasn't even played that good of a safety shot, so could he try and knock this red in? And he hasn't even gone for it. So just trying to put that one safe, which, I suppose is a smart thing to do. Does he need one of those reds? He doesn't really. So that's a really smart thing, there from Highfield. I was about to criticize him for leaving out a potential chance for Zhao Xington, but the interesting thing is, if Zhao misses this red, Highfield only needs those 2, and then he should be lined up nicely for a frame win. Zhao needs both of those reds, and then, is he going to be worth to be taking a shot like that? And the answer is, no, it's not really. And Zhao just tries to take the red, which Highfield put onto the side cushion away from him. So right now, it will be back to Liam to try and take this one away. So 32 points of a difference here. Current safety of a session success is going to be 38% there for Zhao Xington. It's not as bad as 20, I would say, which is already a great advantage. Current session highest break is 48, as you can see. But, I wouldn't get too much ahead of yourselves. It's only been a frame and a half. You could still win this one, although it is turning up to be a bit of a long shot from multiple points, because, we could see a red to be taken into the right corner now from Highfield's point of view. And he doesn't want a black to be cannoned in, because that will leave the red to be potentially over the corner. This is now going to be very interesting to see if he's left that red available for Zhao Xington. The answer is, I feel like the blue is going to be in the way, because that was probably the backup option there for Liam. If Xington is able to get through to this red, this could blow the doors off and certainly make it one chance of a clearance, but it seems like he is going to be heading for that red, or is he? Nope, he won't be. So what's he trying to do with the remaining 3 of those reds? Trying to play them into the black. Doesn't want that cue to be too close to the green pocket. And he seems like he's going to play the shot absolutely perfectly well. Well, he's playing a bit of a dangerous game here, Zhao, because the thing that he's done is to try and force the red into the black I pretty much am going to say right now, it has backfired already. And at this stage, it's probably going to get worse for him because it just makes a very free hand there for Highfield to try and take it aggressive in relation to the other two reds. Because, yes, you can see one of those reds can be taken here past the black, but only just. And at the same time, the other one can't be. And it's a very difficult sequence for you to try and put the red, which does go past the black, then put the black itself, and then still be lined up on the second red here. So I feel like he's not really doing himself a lot of a favour there, Zhao, which I understand. It's, you know, trying to play to the way that the balls are surrounded across the table. But, you know, as I say, for now, it seems like the chances for Highfield to be winning this frame are going through the roof. And there certainly would have been had he managed to get that red into the corner. He hasn't managed to do that. So now, this could be a potential Zhao special. We've seen that before, where he unleashes the long shot power. Wow, is he going to go for that red that I said barely coast past the black? He needs to play this shot way too perfectly for me. Surely this is not the right way for you to be approaching a shot like that. I mean, it's super close for the cue ball to be touching the brown. And at the same time, even if that shot is played perfectly well, there is going to be only half a centimetre, I would say, of a safety room for that red to get past the black. So he can't play a safety shot out of it. So he's clearly going to be all out attack here. But, well, listen, this is where you either find your form or you potentially continue to struggle. He's gone for it, and he's made that one. Brilliant shot there by Zhao. Now, where's the cue ball going to finish? He needs it to stop running. And it's all going to be down for absolutely nothing there, it would seem. Well, I said he needed to stop running. It was a really good long shot there from Zhao, to be fair, because he did put a little bit of swerve onto it. And look at that, perfectly struck into the corner. But now, that yellow, which I said is going to be over the pocket from the left-hand side, with him so close to the green pocket now, it is cuttable, but it's cuttable if it's a frame ball or a match ball for you. You don't really want to be taking a shot like that on when you sort of still going to be 31 points behind. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the shot into the green and tries to roll that cue ball in behind the yellow, but that's going to be a difficult thing altogether. Yeah, I mean, he's just going for the putting the yellow thing, which I'm pretty sure he was trying to do something else, but at the same time, the yellow is going to go on the black spot, the pink is going to be on the yellow spot, and the black is going to be out of position there, so it's all going off there in the frame number 11. But it still does seem like Zhao is anywhere near his best. It does show you glimpses of, you know, the former Zhao to be there, but then it doesn't seem like the final piece of this game is still going to be in here, because the position of the cue ball, especially in the second session so far, has been absolutely all over the place. The split of the pack has been way underneath the average as well. And then you take those two giants of his game, all of a sudden, he could try and turn into an ordinary player that anyone can beat. Especially with Highfield, seems like he's going to try and play this game proper rough in terms of, you know, make it a safety game. Clearly, he realises that it's not going to be too comfortable for Zhao to be playing that game, especially with his early struggles in the first couple of frames here. And you can see just the break of 3 points, which is still going to be important enough there, because that leaves with Zhao to basically have the mindset of, as long as he takes those 3 reds, he could still try and win the frame without taking any colours with them. But, you know, that means that he needs to get 4 separate chances, which, as much as Highfield's game hasn't been brilliant in terms of the safety, it certainly hasn't been that bad to me, although it nearly was. That cue ball was so close to a double kiss to be made, but is he going to be so close to the brown? It will be. Well, I'll tell you what, sometimes you need a little bit of luck for greatness, and that is a potential frame-winning shot there from Highfield. Liam enjoying on time in Crucible. Well, listen, it's been a really good week for him in the Institute of Sport, and right now it seems like he's taking it to the big boys, and he's got a real big cheese against him, and right now, this big cheese is going to have to try and hit the cue ball of 2 cushions to try and get into the red on the left side part of the table. But even if he hits that one pretty well, he still needs to make sure he doesn't leave a red out towards the right middle to be taken. So, yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do here with Zhao, because Ideally, you want to try and do what the line says, but still, if you plan that cue ball to be super close to that red, it doesn't really solve the issue for you. And it seems like he's going to be a little bit off there in terms of the pace. Well, it's now down to Highfield. Is he going to try and take this red away? He does need those points, you know, because right now he's going to find himself 33 points behind. He probably is going to ask this one to be put back, because right now, if he gets a couple more of those foul shots and he gets himself down to 40 points or something like that, then it would make sense for that red to be taken, extend that to 41 points of a lead, then take a blue with it. All of a sudden, that's 46 for you and only 43 at the table if he takes that red away. So Zhao needs to be careful of that, because right now I genuinely would be saying it is more important for him to hit the reds than it is to leave a red away. Well, it doesn't really mean like that, because he's gone for another red to be taken from one cushion, which was super risky. But I mean, he clearly realized the game that Highfield was playing with him, and listen, not a fan of it, but at the same time, it was down to Liam's choice, and it seems like he's made the wrong choice at that stage, because I can understand it, but you know, there's always going to be a risk of being criticised after the player makes that contact with the red from the second attempt and leaves you with nothing. You know, taking that red with a decent colour would have been better than just not taking that red at all, and then Zhao making the contact with the second time of asking. But once again, you probably have to say that it was the right thing to do for Liam at that stage. So plays the cue ball away towards the ball cushion, and still we are not seeing. One thing I will consider at the end point of a frame, and it will depend on massively on who's going to be the winner of this one. The interesting thing about those finals that I mentioned, with Trump, with Higgins, with Zhang, all of them are going to be quite famous for playing the aggressive game. Not Liam Highfield is not, which means we haven't seen that with Higgins, because he knew he couldn't play that well and couldn't play that consistent against Zhao. He was just going to wear himself down. We didn't see that with Zhang, because he certainly had, whether it was an illusion or not, that he was able to take the game to the level of Zhao. Could we see Highfield to try and turn up with a bit of a Selby mindset and just shut down all the ways out for Zhao and make him, you know, in the uncomfortable world, if you like? This is going to be a really interesting thing to be seen there, because, as I say, that could be the reason why Highfield refused to be taking that red, because he could just say to himself, well, whenever there's a risk, I'm not taking it. And it's a strategy. It's a passive strategy, and it's a risky one, and it's the one that you can deeply regret out there. But listen, if he feels like he's been playing, you know, pretty well in the previous time that he's been to the Crucible, and he's trying to take the game to his opponent, and he's now going to be his fourth appearance, and he hasn't made it past the first round, well, maybe it is time for him to try and switch up the game a little bit. But it's a decent safety that from Zhao, because he leaves Highfield with only 1.5 reds to work with. And the half of the red that I mentioned is probably about to be taken onto the cue ball. So let's see. He doesn't want to hit the pink, but he doesn't want that one to be hit too thin. Well, this is going to be interesting. Has he left out a red? He has. Well, this is not an easy one. And when I say it's not easy, it's far from being an easy shot, but at least it's a chance now, which, if you take this red away, all of a sudden, it is game on here for Zhao, and he could try and turn this frame around completely. He could try and turn the match around as well, but for that, he needs to take this red away. He's done that. Where's the cue ball? He doesn't want it to be lined up with the Steve Davis position on the block there. Well, he's going to be all right, just about close enough, but look at that for a shot. Brilliantly played, with so much power as well. He's not going to be messing around here. So then, I said that was the most important thing. He's still got 2 more reds to try and take care of. The last one is going to be the easy one, especially if you have got the yellow to be right next to the black, which basically makes it the shot from the yellow onto the green, which, you know, is still quite far away from. Right now, it is going to be a potential challenge here for Zhao to try and get the red into the corner, then try and play through the shot of the black. So carefully position himself for the red at the left side cushion. He might be thinking about taking the long stuff here, you know. Yeah, he's going to get the extension on the cue. Well, he's not taking the long rest away, but he's certainly taking the long extension on the cue. So now just checking to make sure he's going to be happy with that. The angle is going to be slightly against him though, and he decides to go against it. And takes even longer of an extension. Not nice this is, especially if you know how heavy this stuff is. It's very difficult for you to try and get used to quickly, especially with the rest part of his game not really being the strongest. He's played that one well enough and easy on the black. He is. That yellow is going to be badly in the way, you know. That yellow is going to be badly in the way. I don't know how he's going to be able to get on that red because he's got the perfect angle to try and get on the red. But the yellow, I mean, you had to try and find a bit of a maneuver so that he leaves enough space. He doesn't touch the yellow, which is fine. I mean, I said the last red is going to be the easiest one because of how close it is to the pocket, but still need to take care of it. Play that with real power. And now this is going to be the interesting point here because he's managed to sort out the difficulty with the reds. Now it's all about the shot from the yellow, which is on the black ball cushion, towards the green, which is on the top right-hand side of the D box. So right now, 9 points in it. It doesn't really matter. It's a total clearance or it's a loss of frame for Zhao. Surely he's not going to be able to get away with another mistake. But for now, can he try and make it? The break that certainly will keep Liam Highfield quiet for the beginning of the frame number 12. Well, it seems like the angle on the yellow just wasn't big enough for him to try and take it towards the green. And is he still going to have a chance to try and take this green away? I said that yellow to green is going to be the shot where the frame is won or lost. Now it's the green itself. He's taking that one well. Doesn't want the contact on the paint though. And, well, I'm going to say he's all right. But he's perfectly placed on the cue ball in relation to the brown alongside it on the bulk line. Just about the top edge of it though. But he's going to have to try and take the cue ball around the world. He's trying to hold this one back and Liam Highfield is having a very good look at the brown. But it does seem like his hopes of being ahead of Zhao are about to come banging once again for the third time in the match. 0-0, 4-all. Every single time on the previous two occasions, it was Zhao to prevail and take a frame lead. Right now, he's going to be with a break of 38 points to try and get this one as a break of 44 points. He's not going to bother about the black, of course. So just carefully try and take the pink away. And then it will be all down to just a perfect shot there for him to take that 6-5 of a lead. He needs to do that with the rest. And as long as he holds the cue ball back, and he has, it's a brilliant shot there once again, and it's a really good clearance from Zhao. A break of 44 points probably won't tell you the whole story, but it was a really good approach there from Zhao, and he now leaves himself with 6-5 of a lead. Once again, it is Zhao that finds himself edging out ahead. The sign of a true world champion. And now let's see if he can try and take it down to the comfortable zone, or is Liam Highfield going to be in there with the equation every single time? 3 frames, by the way, that we've played. No, only 2. Is it 3? Is it 2? It's 2. Wow. Incredible. An hour, and it's only taken us 2 frames to get through this one. And yeah, it certainly seems like there is a little bit of the influence from Liam Highfield, just realising that he can't really beat Zhao in his own game. So that's why he needs to try and take it down to the more, difficult route for his own sake. And, well, I'm not going to say it's worked out perfectly well, but he certainly had the chances in frame number 1, frame number 6, frame number 11, and you could argue frame number 9 certainly as well. So far, it doesn't seem like he's taking those chances too well, though. And now, it is going to be another great chance for Zhao to get himself back within 2 frames of the advantage of Liam Highfield, but ultimately only 3 frames away from being the player for the first time in 2 years, in 3 years actually, after Luca Brissell and, what's his name, Karen Wilson have managed to lose out to Li Beifan and David Gilbert in the first round of their respective matches. Of course, the story of Wilson match was a little bit different with Beifan because the way that he's lost out that match, I'm not going to say that he was in control, but at the same time, he had a 6-2 frame of a lead, and, he lost 7 frames on the bounce. That's the long, short story of it, because 6-2 up, first session ended, 6-3, all of a sudden, 15 frames in, he finds himself 6-9 down. He manages to bring that one to go all the way to a decider, but still, it wasn't enough to try and beat Li Beifan, and it was the whole Chinese derby against Zhao Xingtong in the second round there. So, of course, it would have been a very interesting thing to be seeing Zhao Xingtong against Karen Wilson in the second round, but that wasn't quite the case. And even though, of course, that was very much the story, still, you had to give loads of the acknowledgement there to Li Beifan and his brilliant performance. And then in contrast, you had a bit of a different story in relation to Luca Brissell in 2024 of a season. As now Liam Highfield is about to unleash the breakoff shot. He needs to try and take those chances. At this stage, there's not going to be messing around. He needs to try and take every single chance that he sees ahead of himself, because unless that's the case, he's going to find himself in the world of trouble. By the way, Luca Brissell was leading with as much as 9-6, 7-3 frames of a lead and still lost out 4 frames on the bounce for 9-6 of an advantage to be turned into 10-9 of a defeat. So, yeah, the Crucible Curse into the round 1 seems like it is going to be progressing. Right now, Zhao Xingtong hasn't been behind so far in the match, but neither was Brissell until the end of those 19 frames, and neither was Wilson, by the way. Even at this stage, he still had the same lead of 6 frames to 5, and it was 2 frames later where he found himself 7-6 down after being ahead by 6 frames to 2. Not sure what happened with the Lightning, but with the Lightning, I should say. It's a brilliant shot there by Zhao Xingtong, by the way. It's a fantastic way for him to be taking that red into the corner, and look at that for the queuing. He's going to be positioned perfectly for the brown. Perfect camera replay, by the way. No. Fantastic shot there by Zhao. Look at that. This is the replay that we want to see. Look at that for the queuing. Judd Trump, Stephen Maguire will certainly be a little bit jealous of that. And look at the position that he got on the brown, yellow, and even green to choose from. As I say, could this be the point where Zhao Xingtong just turns up with a whole new level of performance and expertise? For now, just trying to get that cue ball to slow down before it goes past the black here. Seems to have played that one pretty well. And well, once again, the replay on the brown is probably not going to be quite as spectacular as the one on the red, but still really good 2-cushion escape for the right side, then the black ball cushion side as well. Carefully taking that red away into the left part of the table. Now it is going to be a break of 6 points here for Zhao Xingtong. So taking the black away into the right corner. Make sure he's going to be getting a couple of those reds away from the cue ball. And those are the shots that usually tell you if Zhao Xingtong is going to be up to full flow and speed. You feel like, as much as it is tempting, and I know exactly what he's thinking there, because, you know, the 3 reds, I mean, he's still gone for it. I was about to say, surely that was the wrong shot for you to play. Well, only time will tell if he's still on the black. I was just about to say, it would have been the perfect shot for you to try and play off the black into those reds, but he still went for it. And the reason why I thought it was the wrong shot for you to do is surely it would have been lined up in behind those reds for the black. That wasn't the case. He was able to get through to the black. And now, with that little cannon towards those reds, he got around 3 more of those to be available. And ultimately, that's 24 points if you take those reds with the black. And 24 points for Zhao Xingtong. Certainly, if you consider the way that his opponent has been playing, I mean, I still can't believe that yellow that was missed. I'm not even sure if that was in the previous frame or the one before that, but whatever it certainly was such a horrible way for Highfield to, you know, let that one away. I'm pretty sure it was in the previous frame 11, because, you know, it feels like it was so long ago with how many things have happened since that point, but surely that was the reason why Liam Highfield hasn't progressed to the second round of the Crucible. He simply cannot be making a mistake like that twice. Remember, he's missed exactly the same shot on the yellows. By the way, I mean, Zhao Xingtong may be doing slalom challenge there with how well he's managed to get through the gates of 2 reds. And he's still, wow, incredible shot there. Even though he got through those gates of 2 reds, he's still going to be able to find the target of the reds that he can see in between those 2 reds, which is incredible to me. And ultimately, once again, that's 8 points that Liam Highfield won't be able to score in this frame. And 8 points after the black is going to disappear. The Zhao Xingtong is going to score here. Is he going to try and play the cue ball into the bunch of reds? He didn't do that now, but he still gives a little nudge to the loose reds away, making sure that he's got 3 of those to be available to him. Now, once again, a break of 46 points now as he takes another red. So then it is going to be potential of the fourth break of 50 plus for him. So just try and carefully take the black away into the left corner. As you can see, the previous two frames, his highest break has been 48 points. He's about to extend that to 53 here. And nobody said that he can't try and extend that to a 3-digit number as well. You can see he's about to take another loose red into the right corner. And one thing that he certainly has managed to learn his lesson with is split of the pack success hasn't been so great. That for now, just make sure you take all the loose reds. Make sure you get that frame on the board. And he's going to be, for the first time since probably 4-2, that he's going to have a 2-frame advantage, which does seem like it's a long time ago, remember. 12 frames. This is going to be frame number 12. The last time we've seen more than a 1-frame advantage in favour of Zhao was frame number 6. Incredibly. And now 62 points of a lead here for Zhao. He's got one more red to try and pot. And then he's going to be 67 points clear, whilst having 68 points of the advantage after, of course, this blue is going to disappear, which you will. So then the break of 67 points and 75 remaining here. So if he can get through to the red next to the pink, that makes it a lot sweeter for him, because it's going to be one of the easiest frame balls that you can think about at the Crucible. And just carefully take that one away. Not really got the position on the pink though. Would still want to get this break to be heading a little bit further, just to make sure that Highfield won't have any temptation to be coming back to the table before the last frame of the first mini session. So just carefully try and take that pink away without touching the front jaw. That wasn't the case, and you can see he is going to be frustrated with himself. He's over the line though, barring snookers, 68 points of a lead, 67 at the table, and the first one of those reds is not really going to be easy for Highfield to try and take the red with the black, but he can afford to be taking 2 of those reds with the pink, so he may as well do that now. And then he will be down to just trying to take the remaining 4 of them with the black, or using the pink one more time. Oh, he's missed the red. Wow, could this be the sign that Liam Highfield is actually, gone beyond the point of him playing his best snooker here? Because I tell you what, it was just a matter of time until one of those frames was going to take the best out of him. And right now, to me, it seems like that point has occurred. 68 points of a lead here for Zhao. If he's going to take this red away, to me, that's going to be a sign of we are seeing Zhao very much, if not to his best, then to the great form out there. A break of 68 points and now a fantastic red that he takes into the right corner. To me, that is going to be a real bid for, right now, at 75 points of a lead, but 75 frames of a lead. Ultimately, could this be something a little bit bigger at the end point of it? You have to wait and see on that one, but for now, it is the ping that is about to be taken as well. And how on earth did Highfield miss that red is going to be a little bit beyond me, but at the end point, of course, Zhao will have to think twice about that particular thing, and not too sure why. There's a little cubal icon which is showing backspin. I'm not sure that was the shot that he's played for the pink. I mean, it may have gone slightly down on the cubal, but certainly not all the way, because of him trying to play that shot through the side cushion. And look at that, real confidence, taking those reds along the side cushions, which usually are a killer at the Crucible for absolutely fun there for Zhao. And can he try and make it 2 breaks of 50 plus in the single frame out there? As he had the break of 68 points, and he's still going for a potential break of 65 points. It's going to take a 2-point hit if he takes the blue. So get that down to 63, but still, it's going to be very much in the mix of top 5 breaks that he's had. He's not really going to bother about the red to be taken into anywhere but the right side. So just carefully taking the blue away, and maybe a little bit of a trick shot. I say he's not going to bother. He nearly got the red in. Ooh, he was thinking about dropping it, but at the end, it is going to be a break of 28 points, which takes Zhao over the finish line. And now it is going to be Zhao that takes the lead of 7 frames to 5. And for the first time since that frame number 6, we are seeing Zhao to be in a position where he's more than 1 frame clear. Liam Highfield needs to realize that it's all or nothing for him, because if he allows 8-5 of a lead to be very much the reality for Zhao, we easily could see, well, that first round Crucible Curse to be broken, because at that stage, is there really going to be a way back for Highfield to try and win 5 frames out of the remaining 6? If there is, it's going to have to be a whole brilliant scenario there for him, and so far we haven't really seen the game from Highfield, which makes you feel like he's going to be capable of doing that. But, you know, another thing you probably have to give a little bit of credit to Zhao. Is he going to be capable of losing 5 frames out of 6? Not too sure about that one, you know, because for now, it seems like he's certainly showing some, you know, great entertainment to not just the sport, but also from what we've seen so far from his own performance. You know, it was a bit of a steady decline in a couple of those frames at the end point of the first session. Right now, it seems to be on a real steady incline and breaks of 68 and 50-something points. I can't remember, what was it? No, it was 48 and now 68 points. So it's still not brilliant, but it's certainly a lot better than what we've seen in the starting point of the frame. Now that he's 1-2 on the bounce. And, you know, 5-4 to be extended to a 7-5 of a lead is certainly something that you will take ahead of the, you know, start of the third mini session. Right now, let's have a look how Barry and Matthew are doing. So Barry managed to take away a frame from Stevens, so with a break of 33 points in the frame number 2. It is, at the end point, going to be Barry Hawkins 1, Matthew Stevens 1. So, you know, we've now taken the 3 of those frames away. They just finished 2 in an hour and 15 minutes, which does tell you that it's probably been closely contested couple of frames. But Zhao is going to be looking forward. You know, he's not necessarily going to be feeling pressure right now, because it's probably too early for him to be feeling the pressure of trying to win the match. But ultimately, is he going to be down to a little bit too late for him to be feeling that pressure of, you know, trying to extend his lead even further? You know, and 7-5 doesn't look too bad on your score sheet. I'll tell you what, 8-5 will look a lot better. So we'll have to wait and see on what's going to happen now with Zhao. Because, once again, the interesting thing about him, you know, he doesn't just have that step off for no reason. He manages to build momentum, and then it's very difficult to stop him, because with him having a really good introduction to the game, with his long game, right now, it is, he's going to be his break-off shot here, of course. And Highfield is going to be ready to try and come out of his seat, and, well, we're going to have to wait and see if he's going to be able to come out of the 2-frame losing streak as well. As I say, for the first time that he's lost 2 frames on the bounce since probably the first 2 frames. Was that the only time? Yeah, so it's certainly not something that I would say Zhao has been used to doing, where he's had opponents to be keeping up with him. Right now, match time is about to go over 4 hours. And it's not a perfect break of that from Zhao. He's potentially left out a red available here for Liam Highfield, so I'm not too sure if he's going to try and go for that red, or is the answer going to be negative to him, because it feels like potentially there is going to be a way to try and get that cue ball to be positioned for the black ball cushion. So it seems like he's just going to try and take that one with a safety approach. Last spot time, 28.5 minutes away. Well, certainly been a long time coming that for Highfield. So what's he going to be for him? A decision to make. Seems like he's going to try and play that one safe. So, yeah, he was clearly just checking the position of the cue ball that he was about to get the white to be lined up. And he got that one pretty well in relation to, he couldn't afford to be getting that white to be further up from the reds. So Zhao seems like he's about to play a Mark Williams special in behind the black and, you know, just force. Well, I say force. Highfield shot himself in the foot there a little bit, if that has worked out for Zhao, because he can't really just play away to the left-hand side of the bunch, because he's got a red available there for Zhao into the left middle. Yes, it's not going to be the red which is in the pocket, but still, it's going to be a very interesting way for him to try and take this shot approach. He's still going to try and play it into the main bunch. So what's he going to be here? And, well, maybe he wanted to try and stick that red to the cue ball to stick to those reds. But, I mean, that was guesswork from Highfield. I mean, that was weird. And he's committed to that a couple of shots prior to this as well. So now it's down to Zhao to try and punish him for it. Take this red away into the middle. He's done that. Let's see where the cue ball's going to finish. Because to me, that looks like a diabolical mistake that from Highfield. And we've seen a couple of blunders on the yellow. But, I mean, from a safety play, that is absolutely outrageous of a mistake. Because he certainly, like, he allowed him to be dragged into the jungle. And he's left there with no map or something. And Zhao just laughed at him and sort of said, well, I'm going to take the full advantage of that. Or is he? Ooh, I mean, there was a bit of a shake of the head there from Zhao, so he's going to have a look at another red. But it seems like he's about to be faced with a difficult shot here to be played. Can he try and take this shred away? Never liked to see those shake of the head before the shot was taken. And in the end, that clearly was something that got in his head a little bit. Yeah, he missed that red away. So let's see what Highfield can do here. He's not really been getting those shots in recently, but yeah, you could see there, Zhao just wasn't happy with the way that he's managed to line himself up for this raid. So right now, it is going to be down to Highfield to try and take this shred away. Points without reply, 146. Would have been 147 had that red disappeared, but now it is down to Liam to try and play this shot away. 31 minutes without a pot. Can he try and make this one right? But also, where's the cue ball going to finish? He's not going to be able to make the rush shot right, though. That's a horrible mistake. He needed to do better than that. And has he left his shred away? To me, he has. Well, that's poor that. We needed to see a step up from Liam Highfield, and we're not seeing it for now. Surely Zhao has to be throwing all that messing around out of the window, and he needs to remind everyone why he is the world champion. And this is the way to do it. It's a really nice raid to get that introduction started. It wasn't easy. You know, it probably wasn't as hard as the rest shot from Highfield, but still, it felt like that was probably the biggest concern for him at that stage. Not allowing a chance to be given away to Zhao. He's done that now, and Xington is about to have a second chance of making a wrap here of the frame. So, of course, leads at 7 frames to 5 here, but ultimately he's going to be looking at potential of being just 2 frames away from glory in the first round, and it's about as much as he can do. No matter the odds, no matter the opposition, no matter how many tournaments that he managed to win early this season, it's all going to come down to just trying to get those 3 more frame wins. And then if you're in the second round, that will give you about 4 or 5 days, maybe even a week. I mean, it depends on when he's going to have that second round match to be played. If, not saying anything, if he qualifies for it. And he needs to find another 100 and something like 50 points spread out equally in between those 3 frames. And then he's going to have a really good chance to try and, you know, make it through to the second round. Back high there. Hello, Letitia. Yeah, you're back for the action because it does... Well, I don't want to jinx him, but we've seen a couple of those nervy frames. And once again, the 11th one feels like he was the one which, you know, probably has taken the biscuit away from Highfield, because now he's got around 180 points without answer from Zhao, and that comes with Xington not being perfect. You know, he's missed an easy raid at the starting point of this frame. As you can see, he started with 6 points on the count, with his break being 23 right now. But just, yeah, seems like the resistance from Highfield is gone, and that's always going to mean one thing. Either Zhao is going to play to get yourself back in the game, or he's going to run away with it and make it absolutely unplayable for you, make it a very hostile environment. When you're not playing well, the crowd want probably the other guy to win because they know that he's the world champion. And I'm not actually too sure what the crowd want to see from the Crucible Curse, but I certainly would feel like some of the crowd will be Zhao fans, but ultimately they like his style of game and they would like to try and see him to go all the way here. For now, once again, about to bring another red into the open play. So 37 points now is the advantage here for Zhao, and probably at this stage is where you forget about all those century breaks, all the potential high value breaks. It's all about just trying to get over the line, but at this stage, try and get over the line without, ending that streak of points without reply. It's now going to be edging out on 200 points without reply in those 2.5 frames. Of course, to finish to frame number 11, where he's managed to deliver the performance in style with a break of 25 points or something. Then he's had the break of 68 in the previous frame, and now, it's not going to be too nice, 52 points of a lead. Average shot time on the breaks is 16 seconds. It's going to be a little bit longer than that here. Well, this is going to be interesting. What do you take here as Zhao? I mean, he's got 2 reds, and I feel like, well, he's got 3 reds. He's going to be lined up in between the 2 of them, I would say. One into the left middle, very narrow, but also not having a clear-cut ability to bring their cue ball onto the black. He may just about have the angle, you know, to try and play this one with an element of a safety. But the other reds, well, this is the more risky approach. He needs this one to go in, otherwise he'll lose that form and potentially lose that, you know, inability of Highfield to be, well, responding out there. Ooh, I mean, has he got a lucky kiss? I'm not sure about that, because he's not going to be on the pink. He needs to cue this blue well. He's going to be straight on it into the yellow pocket. This one needs to go in, and it just about does. That was close. That was really close, and I tell you what, even at this stage, even at 7-5 up, if that blue stays away, well, that was anything but comfortable, especially with how much power he played that blue with. I can't actually believe that he's gone in, to be fair, but he's still, the work is not quite done, although he's going to be on the finish line now. Zhao is coming. Liam say cost him 3 frames, yep. And it's only going to get worse from here. To me, it's cost him 4 frames, technically. 5. Because he could have been 6-5 in his advantage, potentially. So that brings you with, I don't know, 2 frames where you'll take Zhao to try and take it away there. And I guarantee you at that stage, Zhao is not going to be running away from you right now. That's exactly what he's doing. And all of a sudden, he finds himself 200 points without reply, but also 2 points from being safe for an 8-5 of a lead. And now, the first session certainly was a slow burner, and it's going to be a break of 200, no, not a break of 200 points, 207 points without reply, and a break of 68 points to make a joint 4th, the highest break of the match there for Zhao. And Highfield is probably about to, well, not going to say become a passenger, but I am going to say become a passenger, because I was about to say pack his bags and go home, but he's probably going to become a passenger now, because one good thing for Highfield, though, is that an intermission is coming, and potentially it could be down to a bit of a switch in mentality and mindset. I can't believe he's going for a 1-3-4 here, you know. Surely that's wrong. Surely that's wrong. How can he be going for a 1-3-4 if he scored a break of 6 points beforehand? I swear he used 2 reds at that point. Anyway, he's going for a century break, that's for sure. And let's do the maths. Yeah, that's actually right. I don't know why I thought he's used 2 reds at the starting point, but he clearly hasn't. So right now he's on a break of 83 points. As he takes the red away and the black. So makes that in behind of another red. And this is what we want to see at the Crucible. The game to be played at the right level, at the right pace. And Zhao is about to play the game to the highest standard of play there. So could it be the second century of the match? It's certainly not going to be to a great standard in terms of those breaks to be made in total of the 13 frames, and certainly to the 8 that he's managed to win right now. Now then, it's going to be a break of 97, about to take another red away and get himself positioned for the ball colours to try and navigate his way through. So now I'm going to be down to 98. So try and take the green away with it as well. And then it is going to be a break of 101 points. And it is going to be a century break number 2 there from Zhao. And it's only the second century in this match. But I'm pretty sure we've seen a couple of those in the match of Zhang against Mark Allen. All of them to be made by the man from China. And the end point, it is now going to be another man from China looking to try and make his way through to the second round. And it's a break of 106 points with a possible 128. Certainly to try and take it away from, the highest break. Probably being the one that Zhang has made. Although I'm not too sure how many points was that. I'm pretty sure he was in 130 of his own. So he does seem like he's going to be a little bit shy of that particular performance. But he still needs to be taking the total clearance here. Doesn't seem like he's going to be bothered about it too much. And although, look at that, he wasn't even playing for the pink, but he was still able to take it. And now, a shot on the black, and it is going to be a total clearance of 128 points. Simply brilliant there from Zhao. And one thing I have to tell you, the first mini session of the morning session, he managed to finish up with a century. He manages to finish up the third mini session with a century break as well. Consistency is the word for Zhao. So far this season, he was playing horrible stuff at some points during this match. Right now, it seems like he's managed to bring the best out of him. Only 2 frames away from making it to the second round and already doing better than Luca Brissell and Karen Wilson has managed during their title defense in 24 and 2025. Zhao is more confident now, absolutely. Zhao 8, Liam 5. Go, 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 Liam, wake up. It will be 10-5. It will be, and I did say, by the way, 5-4 it was. I did say Zhao Xington is going to take this match 10 frames to 5. For now, it's still possible. I'm not going to say it's the most likely of outcomes, but it's certainly still possible, and I'm going to be here for it. In the meantime, as we're now going to be entering the intermission, let's have a look how Matthew Stevens and Barry Hawkins are doing. But ultimately, let's have a look at points. 935 for Zhao Xington, total points scored. 587 for Liam Highfield. Ball spotted 258 for Zhao Xington, 166 for Highfield here. Pot success 91 to 85. Long pot success 65 to 44. He's managed to improve that long pot success badly there, Xington. Safety success 74 to 72. Once again, a great improvement from 20, where he started that with his second session. And the highest break, as you can see on your screen, 128 and 86 labeled in yellow, just to make it, well, a demolition of stats there in favour of Zhao Xington. Whether it's going to be a demolition in terms of the scoreline, for now, it certainly does seem to be the case out there. And Zhao Xington is still going to be the man for you to try and stop if you are Liam Highfield or David Gilbert or Ding Zhouyi. At least that's what it looks like. You know, we're going to have to wait and see. But the odds for him not to be winning this particular match are going to be up to 21.0. And the odds for him to be the winner are 1.01. By the way, we now finished 4 of those frames of the second session. Barry Hawkins and Matthew Stevens are still at the bottom end of the first one, of the third one to be played. You know, if they were taking 1.5 hours on the one of those frames, it certainly would have been a record there, I would say. Because I'm not sure if there was a match in between Yang Mingtao and Mark Selby at some stage or something like that, where he was the longest frame ever recorded at the Crucible. But yeah, it certainly was the match where Mingtao managed to beat Selby, which actually doesn't really make sense, because I'm pretty sure that was in 2021, which of course was the season where... Actually, I'm actually going to bring that one up here, because Yang Mingtao versus Mark Selby, because which one of those matches am I thinking about? Yeah, he's managed to defeat champion Mark Selby 13-10 in the second round of the 22 World Championship. Yes, exactly. A match highlighted by a record-setting 85-minute, 22-second frame. So I was right about it, but the only thing I was wrong about is that I thought he was in 21, which of course would not have made sense, because Selby managed to win the whole thing, and you can't win the whole thing if you get defeated by Yang Mingtao in the second round. So yeah, that's sorted out. So yeah, once again, it wasn't quite a Crucible curse, because Selby was actually one of the players that he's managed to, you know, win back-to-back titles of the Crucible, although he hasn't done that in 2015, where he was not. If he's gone into the Crucible curse for so badly, let's have a look how early did Selby exit the campaign in 2015, because I'm pretty sure I know it was Bingham that won the whole thing. Who was he playing in the final then? Murphy, yeah, I knew that one. Trump in the semis, I didn't know that one. Quarterfinals, Bingham bit O'Sullivan. By the way, same scoreline, 13 frames to 9, as Stuart managed to beat Ronnie in the 2024 as well. All right, let's have a look. Where's Mark Selby? And the answer is, he needs to be somewhere in here, but I can't see him in the main draw. And yeah, he's managed to defeat Court Mufflin in a decider in the first round. So certainly was an interesting thing to be seeing. And he's lost into the second round to Anthony McGill, 13 frames to 9. McGill then lost to Murphy. Murphy then won against Hawkins and then lost out in the final against Stuart Bingham. That made it into a decider with Jock Trump as well. So that was fun. But it didn't really last too long there for Mark Selby in terms of his Crucible defense. But at least he was able to take it past the first round, which, as we've seen with a couple of players, it's not necessarily always going to be the case with you. But yeah, with Highfield right now, the way for you to try and approach the last 4 sessions is... Listen, you can try and take this one 2 routes. One, you can try and take it all in, because he may as well do that right now with being a 5-8 down. Or you can try and make an early advancements in towards taking an early lead in the second mini session against Zhao, and then just make sure that the world champion is going to try and work through that phase of having to grind out the result against Highfield out there, which is risky because both of those things come down to him playing well. And so far, especially in the previous 3 frames, certainly something that we haven't seen, especially with that raid that he missed into the right corner. So, yeah, at the end point, he wasn't really good enough there from Highfield's point of view, but at this stage, it's not going to be down to him. It is going to be down to Zhao to drop off massively, and of course, he would need to lose 5 out of the remaining 6 frames, which right now doesn't seem like it's something that is going to happen within this calendar year. But in the meanwhile, let's have a look how Hawkins and Stevens are doing as we still wait for the players to get back. Let me just get this stream underway as well, because the good thing about a double screen is it may actually allow you to have 2 matches to be played at the same time, although that's not information that is necessarily confirmed. Let's have a look. Hawkins against Stevens. Oh, it does seem like it's an interesting position. Let's have a look in the 3rd frame. Stevens is the one at the table. Is he on the break here? He's the one so he's certainly on the break because he's just taken the blue into the corner. And yeah, for me at this stage, it should be 2-1 as the advantage there to Matthew, because he's got a really good chance to be taking the red towards the green pocket. Make sure he got that cue ball to be closer to the blue here and just carefully taken towards the right side cushion one more time. So that gets himself into 20 points of the advantage. And yeah, of course, the thing for Stevens is that he needs to do exactly the same thing that got him to this stage in qualifiers. Play his brilliant snooker, a bit clinical, which probably was, I probably would say he's been the most clinical of everyone that I've seen so far in the qualifiers, especially against the opposition that he had to play against with Stuart Bingham. By far the favourite in that match for me, and the way that he was playing in the previous couple of matches as well was super good, but wasn't good enough against Stevens out there. So just carefully trying to take his time here, taking the blue into the middle, and now needs to make sure that cue ball kept on running, and he's going to be able to get through to the reds next to the right corner, and carefully position that cue ball to be taken through the right side and onto the pink at this stage. I mean, he can try and take the blue here, and he clearly was playing for the blue, because at this stage he can try and play this one with the wrong side of a blue. So just try and take that cue ball towards the red, leaves him with 31 points of the advantage. And Hawkins right now, of course, he's going to be limited down to not doing anything in his seat, feeling a little bit helpless, but at the same time, that's none of Stevens' business here. He's here to win, and if he does get himself through to the second round, it could still be a real threat for an underdog. He would not have been my shout. As I say, I'd got for all Team China with Fang Jingyi and Si Xiaowei to try and make it at least one of them into the quarterfinal stage, I would say. And I'd be really surprised, with all honesty, even with my prediction, if one of them was to take it to the semi-stage. Kowalski won. I mean, I like the optimism, KS. No, he hasn't. He's losing 6-3 for now. The match will continue tomorrow in 2:30. But I do love the optimism, you know. It's a little bit misplaced, but still, it's, yeah, he was 1-0 up against Williams. He was 2-0 up. I can't remember. Did Williams win the second frame? I was watching that match, actually. It's a horrible miss by Stevens out there, by the way, which came out of the blue. So have a look how Kowalski's match against Williams has developed, because I know where the second couple of frames have gone, but I'm not sure who won the second frame away. Pretty sure it was Mark. Yeah, it was Mark on the blue, pink and black, all to be separated by a centimetre out there, I remember, because then he's taken a 2-1 of a lead. Then Kowalski managed to level that one with 2 frames each. Then Williams takes another lead of 3 frames to 2, as Hawkins takes the back shot and potentially puts him back to a tree next to his seat for one more time. He'll be down to whether Stevens can see enough of the red that he was missing out on previously. Anthony spoiled a few frames. Yeah, he did, to be fair, but it's really nice to see a guy from Poland in the Crucible, and especially the way, I mean, let's have a look at the campaign that he's had. But I remember I was watching that match against, what's his name? Jamie Jones. That was brilliant there. Pure emotion on the face of Anthony was brilliant. But that performance against Zhao Connor was absolutely outstanding for multiple reasons. Because he was such an underdog, but ultimately, because he had a 7-2 frames of a lead, then he's let that one slip away towards 8 frames each. So he's lost out 6 out of 7 frames, and then he's still, from 8-all, he managed to recover and win that match 10-8 to get himself through to the Judgment Day. And yeah, it's just, listen, it's not unfortunate because you're never going to get an easy game as a qualifier, but it could have been a little bit easier, I'll give you that. And Mark Williams is probably is that not the worst draw that you want to get in the first round? I mean, think about it. Trump, yeah, it would have been worse. Selby, probably, I don't know, you know what, Selby could have actually been a bit of a contrasting game, so I genuinely reckon that, you know, a Selby on his bad day could have been losing by Kowalski there. Wilson, yeah, that's too much. Robertson, too much. O'Sullivan, too much. Murphy would have been interesting, but I feel like that would have been too much as well. So I probably listed half of the draw there, but it's still nice experience. And the fact that he's managed to take it down to 3 frames each is really nice to see there. A guy from Poland to be doing well. Of course, I would have always loved to be having a player from my country to be getting through there, but unfortunately, all of them have lost in the second round with Kazakov, with Boyko, and then with Larkov as well, which has managed to get himself through to the tour card, both of them actually. Boyko is going to retain his tour card for 1 more year because he's got 2 years on the WSC Tour. And then Larkov and Kazakov are going to be getting through to the main draw starting from next season. So hopefully, you know, they're going to be able to try and stay because you do want to see your flag to be represented at the Crucible, which, fair play to Poland. They've got the couple of different age players of Mateusz Baranowski. They've got Michael Sobarchuk, and now, of course, Kowalski himself through to the Crucible, retaining his tour card, by the way, with that win against Jamie Jones. It certainly was a story for him to try and remember. And then watching that draw with Chris Wakelin, well, one thing he certainly must be happy is that he wasn't watching that draw with Liam Pullen, because that certainly was the player that he was up against. So then just a couple of more minutes, and then we'll be getting Zhao and Liam Highfield to be coming back to the arena for one last time. And the next time they walk out, it is either going to be the ultimate upset, or it will be down to, you know, a story to be written to an extent there for Zhao, because it's certainly going to be an achievement for him if he is able to put all those struggles in the first session behind him and come away despite being 5 frames each and being so close to being 6-5 down to be winning the 13 frames by 8 frames to 5. It's certainly going to be a great thing there on his CV. But we'll have to wait and see on what's going to happen right now. Because, as I say, still waiting for the players to come back. I've sort of lost interest there with Stevens against Hawkins, by the way. I don't know if you can tell, but way too many errors. And, yeah, Stevens is going to get another chance after Hawkins misses an easy red to the left corner. Sadly, I can't imagine ever seeing Canadian at the Crucible. Yeah, you've seen the... I don't want to embarrass myself, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be Cliff Thorburn from Canada. I hope I haven't embarrassed myself. There was a Canadian, though, that I've seen on the tour. Nayar. S. Nayar, because I only know the abbreviation for him. Is that what his name is? Is he anywhere near it? Sahil Nayar. He's a professional Canada. He's a professional snooker player representing Canada. And, yeah, Sahil Nayar. He competes on the World Snooker Tour and he's known for competing in the international qualifiers. So, there you go. That's the only player from Canada that I know, apart from obviously the legend of... I'm pretty sure, I'm just going to check that Cliff Thorburn is going to be the player that I am thinking about. Yes, he is. Canadian retired snooker player and, of course, the world champion in, I'm pretty sure in 1980. Is that correct? Alongside the sort of Steve Davis. Steve Davis, by the way, he's 78 years of age. It doesn't look like it. It looks pretty good for 78 years of age. So fair play to him. And, yeah, still waiting for Zington and Highfield to come back. It's a bit of a nervous way that at the end point because, as I say, probably the break that Highfield would need a little bit more than, what's his name, than Xington, because he would have surely liked to make a run towards the finish line. And if that session went on without the intermission, then surely it would have been a 10-5 win without hesitation there for Zhao Xington. Yeah, no, you're right. Not much happening here anymore. Yeah, but, think about it. At least you have got a world champion. Listen, it's, we're still trying to get 3 players to be competing in the main tour. Oh, that's he's about to make that one in. I thought the Stevens missed that black. So he needs a frame ball now to take a 2-1 lead against Hawkins. But listen, you've got UK, you've got Belgium of Brazil, obviously of recent history. Then you've got China and Hong Kong of Marco Fu, I would say, the only player that springs to mind. Malaysia of the Thor appearance in a couple of those matches, but didn't really do anything spectacular. Then we've seen, Ishprit Sinchada, a couple of upsets against Selby, but didn't really get too far either. So the fact that you've got a world champion representing your country, even though he was in 1980, it's still a good thing to have on your country's flag out there. And then you've got the legends of the UK, of Hendry from Scotland, and the likes of Davies. Well, if you finish off the Scotland, Higgins. Then you've got Welsh of, what's it going to be, Williams, Ray Reardon. Pretty sure the 4 or the 5-time world champ. No, he's 4 in a row, and then he's managed to win 1 more out there. So he's 5-time world champion. Then Welsh is certainly going to be joined there. And then Williams, of course, winning his 3rd in 2018. Great addition to it. And I'm pretty sure Dominic Dale, he's not the world champion, but he's still a great addition in terms of the rankings that he's managed to win. And so it's not too bad out there, but it's always going to be limited to, you've got a couple of players from different countries on the tour, because if you've got Germany, you've got, as I say, Hong Kong, Malaysia. Have we got Philippines? I'm not sure. We've got Brazil with a couple of the guys from the different World Snooker Tour. Always excited to see new countries to represent. Exactly, yeah. So, you've got Belgium, you've got Brazil, Australia, obviously, with Robertson. Forgot about that one. Brilliant player. Most successful, I'm pretty sure, from overseas. The world champion 2010, with all the rankings that he's managed to win. Had a quiet season ever since Saudi, but can understand why. Because it was such a demanding tournament for him to try and win. But also at the, 500,000 worth of ranking points, it gives you that freedom for 2 years to be doing whatever you want, attending the tournaments that you want. Zhao will win. Well, yeah, but he seemed to have been the one that was saying that he's match fixing this game. So as I say, think before you say something. Just because he's losing doesn't mean anything. Right now, Zhao Xington is going to make his way back to the arena alongside Liam Highfield. And now, what's it going to be? Is it still going to be a run towards the finish line and 140 of a mix that he needs to score those points in between the remaining 2 frames? And if he manages to spread those points equally in between those 2 frames, then he certainly should be getting through the 1,000 worth of those points scored, but ultimately getting through the match win. Kowalski-Williams, what score? It is going to be 6-3. So the match will resume tomorrow. Right now it's 6-3 after Williams was able to win 3 frames on the bounce, despite the first 6 frames ending up with 3 frames each. Right then, the break-off shot is in by Highfield, so it's now going to be down to Xington to try and show us what he's going to have with his safety game. Now he's going to be a little bit nervy of a frame, but this is why you want that 3 frame of a cushion, because you can't afford to be losing 2 of those and not really have the blinking to be intensified for you. If you lose 3 on the bounce, then this is where things might start to get a little bit anxious. I still wouldn't say you have to panic before your opponent gets to, what's he called? 9. With just ask Luca Brissell or Karen Wilson. Different situations, of course. Where Wilson lost 7 frames on the bounce and gone on from 6-2 of a lead to 9-7 of a deficit. Won 3 frames more and then still lost out the decider towards Li Pei-fan. And then Brissell, that was leading 9-6 himself, but wasn't able to hold on to that lead and lost out the first round match to David Gilbert. So then, current session average shot time, 19 seconds for Zhao Xington, 31 seconds for Liam Highfield. And ultimately, it is going to be down to 100% a long pot success there from Zhao Xington. I do want to see the pot success as well, because I can remember a couple of those shots to be missed by Zhao. But apart from that, he should still be rock solid in the 90s. As you can see, It's a good shot there from Xington's point of view because he's left the potential red away to the right corner, but managed to cover that one up with the, what's it called? With the red to be taken into the corner. 91, thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, even if he was to take that red away, it would be a difficult shot for you to cue, but ultimately, you know, an attempt to try and get lines up for the black would not have been an easy thing for you to do here. So last pot time, 41.5 minutes. That is incredible there for Highfield. I want to see, is it 300 points now without answer? Which is going to be incredible, really, when you think about it. Yeah, he's got to be a little bit less than that. It's going to be 250 or something, because 300 points is 2.5 frames there. And look at that, shot time a minute. Why do I feel like he's going to come across with the easiest thing in the world to be done at the end? I get that he's using that red as a bit of a problem for him, but what's he going to try and do here? He needs to make sure that cue ball doesn't fade. He put a lot of trust in that table, and at the end point, it seems like he's managed to work out to him just about enough there, because the cue ball is going to bounce away from that red with enough distance so that this red is not going to be taken into the corner, even with ambitions of Zhao Xington, which has been taking those reds for fun so far today. 4 reds taken, 4 of them missed from my personal observations. And all of them, to be fair, well, at least 3 of them seems to have come into the left part of the table as well. Which to me seems like it's the tightest pocket of the table. How many blacks have we seen to be rattled in the jaws and still drop in? How many have we seen to rattle in the jaws and stay out on the table? You know, right now it's going to be down to Highfield to try and take the red away into the right part of the table here. But what can he try and do here? Can he see that red that I'm talking about? Or is he going to be forced to try and take a shot from the left-hand side instead? Which, you know, you have to be careful about so you don't push the sequence of plans towards the right corner. And also you have to be careful of that red which you were so scared of on the previous shot. And, well, taking that cue ball in a wide line, it's a really good line to be fair. Just needs that cue ball to pull up towards the ball cushion so that he doesn't leave any sort of temptation away for Zhao Xington. And he seems like he's managed to do that really well in relation to, I mean, is there going to be a gap in between the black and the reds for Zhao to try and exploit here? Because I genuinely feel like there is. And if there is, I would expect him to go for it. And he's went for it. There was a gap. And it's a really good shot there, but he still missed the red. But it's a really good shot on relation of the cue ball, because he would have been lined up for the green, and he made that red, and the position of the cue ball would have been the same, which of course he would not have been. But yeah, it's at the end point, it's a really nice safety, which you've taken a decent chance of getting yourself with an opportunity to start a breakaway. And once again, Highfield just trying to play it safe and making sure you got that cue ball to a safe enough point. Well, I'll tell you what, to me, that's a bit of a mistake. And sometimes an inch given to Zhao Xington could be ending up with, you know, a frame to be given away, because the red next to the left corner, if he was taking the previous one, he's certainly going to take this one away, because even though he's going to leave that cue ball in close relation to the black and close relation to those reds as well, you know, that's a risk that is worth taking on usually. And look at that, brilliantly taken. And you can see disappointment on the face of Highfield in the background. He certainly felt like he's done enough at that point. And now he's probably about to have another chance of a potential early frame encounter to disappear from him. And current session, long pot success, 86%. Yeah, of course, they still counted that as a long pot success on the previous one, which I'm going to say boo for. It was boring, man. I mean, he's managed to play a really good safety out of it, just classified as a safety, and let the guy survive for that 100% a little bit longer. But listen, it doesn't matter. It's only a joke, but it would have been nice of them to try and keep it as long as it possibly can. Anyway, it does seem like the intermission has changed nothing in relation to the way that this game is going. And the only thing that can stop Zhao Xington right now is a horrible mistake, because it was asking the referee to clean the white. Clearly didn't get the action that he wanted. So trying to play for the blue, which is going to be over the left middle. So try and carefully take that one with a bit of a nudge towards the left middle. And yeah, in relation to those reds, I mean, I say it's going to be a mistake. I probably underestimated the position of the reds here, because if you take them one by one, you are going to be able to make a thing out of it, but you know, the problem with taking those reds one by one is that one mistake, and you haven't really got a backup option. And it seems like, talk about a mistake, Zhao is taking a really long look at this red, which to me, last time that was the case, it just suggested that he run himself out of position. Nah, he's fine for this one. Don't know what he's checking there. He's clearly going to be able to take this red away, closer to the right side cushion. Whether he's going to be able to get for the black here or not, probably have to play for the blue. And this is where he goes wrong a little bit. He's slightly on the wrong side of a blue. It's not going to be enough of the angle for him to try and force that cue ball to be heading around the house. So what he does need to do here is to just hold that cue ball back with minimal power. Make sure he gets that cue ball to be lined up diagonally towards the pink. And just carefully take it towards the right corner whilst probably keeping that cue ball to be lined up for the black to be taken into the left-hand side of the table. But of course, this is not quite as easy as we've used to seeing there from Zhao. But once again, he does keep that scoring to nothing. Points without reply to around, well, 280 points right now. Can he try and take this shred away? I mean, the thing about that makes it even more difficult is that he's clearly not confident of trying to hold the cue ball for the pink. So let's see, is he going to just try and force that one away? He has. So yeah, just play that one with full backspin. Make sure that cue ball is going to meet the pink on the edge underneath it. But he's played that one really well in relation to the red. Didn't even rattle in the jaws. And he's still going to be just about positioned well enough for the pink to be taken here. So 21 points now as the lead for Zhao. And let's see what this one is going to be. Because if you try and take the pink away towards the left middle, then he should have a couple of those reds to choose from that he can try and take at the right part of the table. Oh, has he overcut that one? He has. I don't know how. I absolutely don't know how he's managed to overcut that pink. Undercut, absolutely. But how on earth do you overcut this one? And how on earth did that not drop in here? I mean, Zhao clearly not happy with himself, but listen, it's 21 points. Points without reply, 295 there. Surely that's going to be the end of that particular streak. 48 minutes, 48 seconds, and it is going to be a pot for Liam Highfield. So he gets himself on the score sheet for one more time. And yeah, the worst news for Zhao is he's actually managed to get the reds into the operating system there. And they're actually going to be positioned really nicely there, apart from 5 of them. They seem to be getting a number of 5 there to be shown next to the black. So yeah, he's got certainly loads of reds to choose from. But it's just going to be the first couple of shots to try and get yourself back in the playing groove. Oh, I mean, he needs that cue ball to keep running. Don't tell me he's running himself out of position on this one. I mean, he's got 9 reds in the open play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reds in the open play. And he could be on nothing. Wow, that is close. Boy, that is close. I mean, the red that is closest to the cue ball is the only one that he can pot, because the red that has gone towards the left middle is going to be blocked by the pink. But I'll tell you what, that red close to the cue ball is only just about going to get past the other 2 reds, but he can't do it on only just. You need to play this shot with full power so that you get yourself lined up for the black, or can he even play for the black? He can't do that for the right corner, but he's aiming at the left corner here. Same pocket as the one that he's about to take the red into. Well, listen, he needs to take it, but I mean, to me, he needs to play that one into the back end jaw, and that's risky. And he's played that one really well. He's played that into the back end jaw, and he's managed to get a really good purchase on that red. So that was smart. It was risky, but it was really good execution there, because that clearly was done on purpose there from Liam Highfield. And, you know, yes, he's going to be on the wrong side of a blue here, but it's probably not going to be about as much of a problem as it was for Zhao, because Zhao still needed to get through to those reds. Right now, as he managed to do that, he's going to have plenty of those to be available for Highfield. And it does seem like he's going to try and take this one around the world. Needs to try and make sure there is no contact on the green or the brown. And in the end, there was contact. And let's see where the blue is going to be respotted. And it does seem like the referee is about to pot the blue next to the pink spot, which is going to be a great relief there for Highfield, because that was close. and that was anything but comfortable. But he still has to pay the price for that, I'm pretty sure, because the blue is now out of position. It's on the pink spot, and that means it's a lot more difficult for you to try and play for the pink. I would probably say your best chance of being on the color is going to be through playing on the black here, which means you need to play this shot with great precision and also greater distribution of power in relation to trying to hold the cue ball back there. But still, don't forget to pot the red into the corner. And he did forget to pot the red into the corner. Well, he could see that one coming. Unfortunately, it just seems like his game is going to be well out of shape. And, it wasn't even a big thing for him to try and put his hand through, but he still wasn't able to do that. And red spot success, 55%, a dropping there for Highfield. It seems like this match is about to be over for him because he can't be missing a red like that. In the first round of the World Championship, in the qualifiers for the Cure Tour, he can't be missing a red like that. And Zhao is going to be spoiled for choice here. Or is he going to be spoiled for choice? The red that I was about to say is the best option. I've realized that he can't really play for the black. He can't play for the pink. He can't play for the blue for that one. So that puts you out of the equation for that red. So he needs to be taking the red closer to the left middle. The only minor thing about that particular red is that you probably have to be taking the cue ball down to the top three colours, the green, brown and yellow. Yeah, it seems like he's gone back to the option 1 for me, but once again, can you please answer my question on what's he going to be for the colour that you choose? So is the black actually going to be available after all that? Because I thought that was the reason why Highfield wasn't playing. So why wasn't he playing for the black then? Explain this one to me. Why on earth was Highfield not playing for the black and he was playing for the blue then, if the black was always available here into the left corner? That was a bit of a weird one. I'm not going to say it was a blunder because I'm not sure, but well, that certainly makes the life of Zhao a lot easier. Because right now he's about to free up the black to be possible into left and right corner with no difficulty to be placing the cue ball onto it. Just needs to have a spider shot here to be performed. But if he's got any sort of angle, well, to be fair, he may have to just settle for a bit of a wider shot on the black here to be taken, and makes a little bit of a contact with the red, which is going to improve the position of the cue ball even better for him and make it a break of 9 points. So it's not quite going to be, 300 points plus without answer, but, the fact that Liam Highfield managed to score 14 points doesn't really make it, the king of the world for him, does it? And listen, we've seen 9-6 to be overturned by David Gilbert. Surely we're not going to see a 9-5 to be overturned by Zhao Ziton. And to me, it's the question of how on earth is he going to lose the 15 frame, really? Because I know he's not even won this one, but the thing is, even if he gives a chance away, which he won't, he's got those 4 reds lined up in the easiest practice setup that you possibly can imagine. And, you talk about pressure. You're going to have to be really stupid to be feeling pressure here, because you can see that your opponent is playing absolutely horrendous stuff. You're playing super well. All you have to do is finish the job off. And I feel like even if he makes a mistake, it's not going to be down to pressure. It's going to be down to, a bit of a lack of concentration or anything like that. But it's not going to be down to pressure at this stage, because there's nothing to be scared or pressurized about it. It's just 39 points of the advantage that you need to try and take towards 50 or something, with taking 2 more reds away. That will leave it with 51 points available for Liam Highfield, and he won't be able to do anything with it. I don't know why they're showing the miss on the ping, because as much as it was a bad miss, it didn't lead to anything. What you should be showing is the numerous mistakes from Liam Highfield's point of view. And the one with the rest shot seems like he is going to be the last one in frame number 14. Whether it's going to be the last one in the whole match, we'll have to wait and see. Because sometimes you feel like there's going to be a need for him to make another mistake in the next frame. Or you could say that he's going to have a break off, and then Zhao Ziton is going to take it away. So for now, wow. Was there a noise from the crowd? Was there anything from the crowd? I literally said, if he misses this one, it's not going to be down to pressure. I mean, what on earth is this? How? I mean, he's not happy with something in the background. I'm not sure if something put him off there, but well, that is weird. 46 points, and he's not even over the line here, Wow, this could be huge, you know. I don't know how, but Highfield still finds himself in the match. 8-5 down, one shot away from 9-5 down, and missed the black off the spot there from Zhao. I mean, me, with the ultimate jinx, it just proves you that never celebrate and never say how easy it is. It was the perfect practice setup, and still, Highfield turns into the favourite for the frame. He's only got one red to be in a slight problem, and he's messed that one up. He's messed that one up there. He's still going to be on the red to the left middle, so I wouldn't panic just yet about it, but he's messed this one up there, you know. It could have been a lot simpler than it is going to be right now. I still can't believe what he's done there, Zhao. So 38 points of a difference. So he needs to be taking this red with a brown, and then take the last red with the black, and then he should be fine, because that leaves you with 40 points each. So yeah, green or brown, as long as he takes the last red with a black, and then he should be fine here. Well, I mean, Zhao is going to be over the moon if he's going to be coming back to the table. I mean, yeah, that red is going to be acknowledged by the crowd, because they clearly would have seen the frustration there on Liam Highfield's face, and they didn't realise that it was more difficult to miss that red than it was to pot it. But this is where the shot is going to, the frame is going to be won or lost here. The shot from the brown to try and take that cue ball around the house. What's it going to be? One cushion into the green, out of position. Thank you very much. Zhao is going to be coming back to the table. I love that humour from BBC. As soon as he hit that shot, they've shown the cue ball placement next to the red. I mean, that was the ultimate trolling I've seen one. Yeah, so him taking the brown leaves him with having to take this red with the black or pink. And then he's going to be in with a chance for a total clearance. Now he needs to try and get that cue ball in behind the black. He hasn't done that. And he's left the red into the open play. He hasn't left that one as an easy shot. And Zhao will be feeling it a little bit after the previous mistake. But the best way for you to try and recover from that mistake is going to be by potting a red like that into the green pocket, and surely making it down to just one more frame of the hunt. And then you're going to be lined up nicely for the match to be won for yourself. So then, is he going to try and go for it? He probably can afford to be doing that, but he hasn't. Oh, he can't afford to be doing that, you know. He nearly potted that cue ball into the left middle, misjudged the contact point of the white, and yeah, he managed to bring that red to be very close to the ball cushion. So I feel like it's not going to be playable for Liam Highfield, although the cue ball has gone towards the red. So, nah, it's not going to be playable here, but still, that was a bit of a nervous moment, because remember, if the cue ball goes into the pocket, that changes things here for Highfield, because that leaves him with basically taking the red with anything. Right now, he needs to be taking that one with the pink or black, which certainly helps that both of them are going to occupy pretty much half of the lower end of the table, because of the black being on his spot and then the pink being over the left middle. But still, it's something that you have to bear in mind for. And also, from that pink, you need to try and somehow transition the cue ball all the way towards the yellow. So Zhao right now is going to be thinking about this one. So 33 points is the difference. Can he try and make it 34 with only 27 at the table? He's not even going for it. And right now, once again, he's played two safety shots, and both of them have been quite horrendous out there. Well, I don't know what's worse, safety shot there from Zhao, or the fact that Liam Highfield is going to have to try and take this one with a rest. I mean, his rest shot success has been absolutely horrendous. So 33 points behind, 35 at the table. If he takes this red with the pink and needs a whole lot of a screw back, I feel like his best chance of playing this red is going to be with the black. He's gone for this red. He's taking that black red in. Wow. Surely this is not the way where this match is going to swing out. 8-5, 9-5, and 8-6 are very different scorelines, you know. And right now, somehow, Liam Highfield is only 7 shots away, make that 6 away from getting the biggest steal of the tournament, only in the first round. That is going to be absolutely massive from the way that Zhao had been lined up so easily on that black. He didn't manage to take that chance, and the only thing that can stop Highfield from doing that is yellow to green, with it being out of position, and then green over to brown. Once again, he's been struggling with that yellow for so much time, and now he's going to struggle with the green surely, because it feels like he got the snooker in between the blue and the green. And whenever, Zhao Xingtong seems to struggle, Liam Highfield is always going to be there to help him out, it would seem. And unfortunately, that goes with going against yourself. The replays from the BBC, by the way, are absolutely horrible. I don't know what's happening on the broadcast. Can't seem to get that one right. Come on, man. You can't be showing a replay just about as he's about to play the next shot. I mean, what is that from BBC? Because I just missed half of the shot that he's played. He nearly fluked the green. I mean, what is going on there? He nearly fluked the green despite being snookered into the corner. And he would have been on the brown, by the way, which is incredible. I mean, he's showing the replay again. I mean, what are you doing here? The touch of the black into the green, the cue ball to go all the way across the table. And after that, the green has somehow run safe. So, Zhao is going to try and take that one towards the lower end of the table. The cue ball is going to be really good. Wow, it's going to be a fantastic shot there from Zhao Xingtong. Whether he meant that one or not, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is getting that green in, getting himself 26 points of a lead, and then trying to take the brown with it as well as a bonus. And then 9-5 of a lead. He's going to be there for the taking for you. But for now, it's Highfield that finds himself having to bridge over the black. Oh, he's hit that one really well. Really close, I was about to say, to be getting a double kiss, which means that he hasn't hit that one well at all. And has he left his green to be taken into the yellow pocket? It's right on the edge there, It's right on the edge in between this green being available. I probably would just about say you can't pop this one, so you need to be dragging that cue ball in relation to the black. But to be fair, that would have opened up the angle to try and bring the cue ball towards the black, and you had to do that whilst bringing the green towards the left corner, which goes, of course, against the plans of Zhao Xingtong. So now it's going to be Highfield once again to try and take the green towards the top-hand side of the table. Let's see what's it going to be this time around here, though, because if he tries to make contact with the green, take that one towards its own pocket, then it's going to be a decent chance. And for now, he just tries to put those separately on the cube on the left side and the green on the right side cushion. It's a little bit of the chaos on the table because, three colors, the three most expensive colors are going to be out of their spots significantly, but all of them to be in the open play. And Zhao Xingtong there taking a bit of a risk in relation to the wide line that he's taken on the green. And a little bit too narrow at the end, but still manages to get that green close enough to the black ball cushion so that it's not going to be potable by Highfield. And it's going to be another safety shot for Liam here to play. So just try and carefully take that green away from the cue ball and make sure that cue ball is going to be stuck towards the black ball cushion. So this is better there from Highfield, because even if he hasn't managed to line his snooker up, which he has, he would have forced Zhao Xingtong to be very accurate with the shot on the green. But right now, as I say, he certainly managed to get that snooker in lined up. And, well, let's see. The bounce is going to be the obvious from the ball cushion. The thing that is not going to be obvious. Ooh, was that the contact with the blue? Was that me making things up? I mean, that was certainly close to be leaving out a green over the right middle, but to me, it just seemed like the blue moved a little bit. I may have just been imagining that one, but clearly the referee hasn't called a foul. And it's not really going to be the most important thing here, because Highfield, is he going to try and cut this green in? Or is he going to try and jaw? Wow. That is a shot and a half there from Liam Highfield, because that one was do or die if I've seen one. He's tried to jaw Zhao Xingtong, and he's managed to do that really, really well. I mean, you're not going to get any better than that in terms of the jaw of the shot there. So is he going to try and swerve around this one? I mean, Highfield might be devastated because he put the frame on the line, and Zhao Xingtong with the nonchalant move just comes away with the shot and takes that one perfectly well. I mean, that jaw stopped the cue ball from rolling into the middle, and still Highfield got absolutely sawed all out of it. Yeah, it's not nice for him, but in the end, it is going to have to try and make it on 5 colours. So if he's going to be able to get the green to be bouncing towards the black ball cushion, he needs to do that off 2 cushions though, and at the same time bring that cue ball to the top end of the table, and then he should be lined up nicely for these frames to be taking a turn in his direction, although he does need a good contact on the green here, and he's not going to get it off the blue. So this one is possible for Zhao, but is he going to be able to take it? Because inevitably he's going to be attempting to try and put the blue out of position. He won't need that one. Snookers or not, he won't need the blue here, whatever happens. So what's he going to be here on the green? He's taking that one. The blue is going to stay away from the pocket, and it does seem like after all that struggle, after all those risks from Liam Highfield, it is Zhao that takes that green home, and now ahead by 26 points, remaining 22. So what's he going to be here on the brown? Is he going to try and take this one into the middle? Well, he has. He's missed it. So Highfield should try and come away with something to try and battle for, as he now finds himself 26 points behind, whilst having 22 ahead of himself. So it's 1 snooker to tie, so he can try and make use of the brown here, although he can always try and take this one with a cross double. I don't really understand what was that all about. He's tried to take the cue ball towards the green pocket, but it seems like he's left that brown over the pocket. So we'll see if Zhao is going to be able to take this one away, because if that is the case, we are going to be heading to the 15th frame, while Zhao is going to have 9-5 of the advantage. Wow, surprise, but he hasn't managed to take that brown in. So at the end, it is still going to be the battle on the base that continues for Liam Highfield, but only just hanging on there by the skin of his teeth, and just looking to try and make his way to try and make things happen here. By the way, Hawkins and Stevens have now finished the first 4 frames, and it is going to be 2 frames each out there with the battle of the former finalists. Highfield, as I say, desperate to hang on. How many frames have we played, by the way? 9 before the match started. It's now down to 14 after this one. So we've played 5 frames, and it's been more than 2.5 hours. That is extraordinary when you consider that Zhao has been the one playing majority of those, certainly shots with the attacking display. And it seems like he's about to have one more brown to be taken, because Highfield was thinking long and hard about it. But Zington doesn't need this brown. All he needs is try to put it over the pocket. And he's going to be able to get the brown in altogether. So right now, it is going to be, after all that struggle and all the uncertainty, with the black to be missed off the spot, it is going to be Zhao to take this frame away. And it is going to be 35 points of a lead, which, is not going to matter massively. But at the end point, it is still going to be 37 points that Liam Highfield scores in comparison to 350 from Zhao point of view. And he finally takes him over the line with 1,000 points worth of breaks that he's had. 14 frames in, Zhao 9, Liam Highfield 5. Talk about that first round curse. It was 9-6 in favour of Luca Bracel against Gilbert. It was, 9-0 for a decider for Karen Wilson. It was 6-2 of a lead that he had before losing 7 frames in the bounce. Surely, Highfield is not going to be capable of winning 5 frames on the bounce here, because for now, it certainly seems like a very opportunistic thing to be thinking about, but you never know. You never know at the Crucible. So what's he going to be then for Liam? The worst thing for him, he hasn't got anything positive to take from the previous things that have happened here so far. He's been playing absolutely horrible stuff. Zhao has managed to go from 3rd to 4th gear and has managed to steady the ship out there. He's had that horrible mistake on the black, which is beyond me why that's happened and how that's happened. But listen, the end result is going to be the thing that matters. But he certainly needs to make sure he doesn't do that again until the end of the Crucible. If you do that once and you do that in the first round when you're about to be 9-5 up, that's fine. As long as you don't do that in the decider of the World Championship final or a one-table setup or something, because, players like Ronnie, players like Selby, players like Trump are certainly going to be all over that mistake and hopefully for them, punishing you for it. So then, frame number 15. Remember, it was 14 frames in the first round match against Jack Jones, where he has taken Zhao to beat the Welshman and progress through to the second round in a match of Li Pei Fan. So what's it going to be now? The pink is about to take its own spot, and the fans are about to take their spots at the seats. The 15th frame, and could be the last, of course. The referee can't say that, but I'm going to say it for him. It could be, and should be, for me, the last frame of this match. If Zhao is able to do things that he's done in the last 4 frames, especially down to the last 3, then he certainly shouldn't have too difficult of a job of getting over the line quite comfortably. 10-5 is still going to be called very comfortable in for him. And Highfield, as much as he hasn't played superbly well, he's still going to be disappointed with the way that he's had that one to disappear for him. He needs to hit this one from underneath. He has. It's a really good shot there from both Xington and Liam Highfield to get this one started with. Because, you know, the thing about Zhao Xington's shot was that a break-off. And then he still finds Liam Highfield in a position where he's snookered. So he's looking to try and make it very much the same story as the frame number 13, I'm pretty sure, of a couple of frames beforehand, where he was trying to get that cue ball to being behind the black. I'm not sure he's managed to succeed at that, though, which leaves Highfield with a potential chance to be taking the red towards the left middle. Is he going to make this one in? He's played that with power, and he's played that with accuracy as well. So that was a good shot there from Liam. And now, about to be on the blue. So if it's a 5-frame streak, then he starts here there for Highfield, but I'm certainly not going to be on that train for now. As I say, for me, it's going to take a break of 60 points here to try and get even started to think about it. But also you'll take a bit of a bad start to the frame from Zhao Xington, which he didn't really have. He's played a questionable type of a shot there. He couldn't really get that cue ball to be tied up for the black ball cushion. But now it's down to Highfield to try and do something about this one. Average shot time 20 seconds for Zhao 31 seconds for Liam Highfield. 280 to 180 of balls potted. And as you can see, worth of points 638 for Highfield and 1,013 for Zhao. Seems like he's played that shot pretty well there, because it looked like to me he was a bit too straight on the black, allowed to force himself enough of the angle so that he was going to be lined up for the red. And yeah, once again, it's a straightforward position here for Liam in relation to 5 more reds that he can take as soon as he gets the pink to be out of the way. I feel like at this stage, he may not even bother about trying to take it safe. Just play the cue ball into the bunch as soon as he can and just trying to go with the flow. It's now a break of 22 points. Carefully takes the red away into the right part of the table. So makes it a break of 23 right now. So just get himself through to be taking the black into the left-hand side of the table. Make sure that cue ball is going to be running around like crazy in the end point of the frame, but not just yet. Although he does seem like he's lacking the angle here in terms of trying to take the shot all the way. Let me just refresh the stream very quickly, because it seems like the delay is going to be here now. That's better. So he's taking that black away. Now, what's he going to be with the positioning? Because I'm not too sure about it. The body language doesn't really give a whole lot away. Now it does. Now it does to me. Probably suggests that he's not going to be onto anything. Wow, I mean, you can't really take a plan like that away into the corner with how much distance there is in between the two raids, but also how uneven they're going to be looking at the pocket. So he's going to have to be a safety. Whether he's going to be in the mood of playing a safety shot now, we'll have to wait and see. He's got another red next to the pink to be taken, but that one is not going to be an easy shot by any means. So this is where it can go wrong, but it can also go right there for Liam. Played that shot really well. And that was the point where it could have gone wrong easily for him. He hasn't. So right now he's going to be a lot closer to taking this frame over to the 16 frames out there. And yeah, just having a look to see what's it going to be there in terms of the score sheet, because right now he's still going to have a break of 36 points. It's something that Highfield can't take for granted there. You know, his highest 4 highest breaks have not even been all past the 50 points of a mark. And in fact, he's only had one of those to be higher than 55. And of course, that horrible miss on the yellow which seemed to have cost him that dearly. Frame number 11, which he's going to have to try and overanalyze later. Which certainly is going to be plenty of doing that. But he's about to be taking the pink here into the left part of the table. Make sure that cue ball is going to be positioned for the opposite side of the table here, just because it's going to be easier for you to try and do it like that. He hasn't really got enough power on the cue ball, but he should still be able to reach for that opposite side of the table without needing the rest. So, yeah, if he takes this red away, he can choose of playing for the pink or the black. And just carefully taking that red away into the corner, making sure that he didn't have to do anything with the cue ball, apart from maybe taking a little bit of extra power out of it. Getting himself through to the black to be taken now into the left corner of the table. Take that one carefully. Make sure that cue ball is going to bounce from the black ball cushion. Good morning, 4:25 AM here in Malaysia. Fair play for turning up to this one. It's going to be late night in the UK. Well, not late, but 9 o'clock in the UK. Is it still 9 o'clock? Yeah, 9:25 there, so not bad. Yeah, I could have actually got that from 4:25 AM. It's not going to be different minutes now there. It can be different hours, but not minutes. Unless you live somewhere like in North Korea, where they take their own rules. Anyway, back to Highfield, and he's got 58 points of a lead, 83 points at the table here remaining. So, well, I mean, I said surely it's not going to be the repetition of Bruxelles' 3 frames lead to be overturned there by Gilbert, but right now it seems like Highfield is going to get off to a good start, because I said it will take a break of 60 plus points for me to reconsider my choice. Listen, I may start to think about it. 9-6 is nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I said 10-4 before the match started, after the what's it called? The second session has started. I said 10-5, and I wasn't too far away. But right now, I am going to be far enough so that I'm going to be wrong, and it's a break of 72 points. The 4th highest break to be made in the entire match there, and second best from Liam Highfield. Sorry, 5th break in the entirety of the match. But it could still be very much number 3 if he makes a century break out of it. I feel like he's unlikely to make it past the break of 123 and 28. Would have to get somewhere near the total clearance for that to be the case. But for now, it's a really nice response there, because, you know, that half a mistake from Zhao, it could have easily been a red to be missed into the corner. Right now, it does look like it's a perfect, break there from Liam Highfield. Not a single mistake. Using the blue a couple of times, using the pink a couple of times as well. And all the other reds have been taken nicely with a black out there. About to repeat the break of his highest achieved in the 5th frame. And he's doing that in the 15th frame, so 10 frames later. Almost like 10 years later for Liam Highfield here. And yeah, about to take a red into the right corner here. So once again, he needs to be doing that with a red shot, which is probably going to be a bit of a nemesis here for him. But good news is he's going to open up the angle to be getting that cue ball closer to the black. If he plays his shot straight into the heart of the pocket, which he has, well, tell you what, taking no prisoners there. About as close to the front jaw without touching it as he possibly can be. But ultimately, 3rd highest break in the entirety of the match. And could it be the 3rd century break to be made as well? Have to wait and see, I guess. But for now, just looking at the pink about to be taken here into the left middle. And if you play that one with a little bit of a screw back in relation to the cue ball, you should be able to just position yourself nicely for another red. And then, of course, if you take another red and pink combination, it is going to get you exactly on 100 points. And that will leave you with, at least if you're going to be exiting the World Championship, then make sure you do that whilst butting in the door. And he certainly seems to have done that now in a frame number 15, where it is, no, it is going to be frame number 16 after all that. Sorry. Is it going to be frame number 15? Yes, it is going to be frame number 15 after all of that. Sorry, apologies. That maths certainly exited the chat there. And he's able to take 2 red shots on the bounce there, taking that cue ball very much on a journey for the black here. So it could still be a break of 135 points. I said it's unlikely to be the case because of the way that he had the lineup for the last 2 reds. and he still wasn't good enough for the black, but at the end point, it certainly was good enough for a good century break there from Liam Highfield, and now it is going to be a break of 101 points, which leaves him just one step closer towards Zhao, and now it's going to be over to you, Zhao, because there was always going to be an odd frame that you can miss out, and right now, you know, the thing that he does all the time there for me is that whenever there is a loose frame like that that goes out of him, he always seems to try and bring his A game to the next frame. Whether he's going to be able to do that or not, it's going to be another matter. But for now, it certainly seems like he's not going to be lined up too badly for it. As you can see, 15 frames in, and 9 frames to 6 is the advantage here for Zhao. So it's not out of the equation just yet, because 5 frames on the bounce is difficult for you to achieve. 4 frames on the bounce, at least it doesn't sound as bad. And at least you're going to be more than halfway there towards the finish line from Liam Highfield's point of view. As we get the second session of the match of Matthew Stevens and Barry Hawkins to be underway as well. As Rob Spencer is about to rack up the reds. I said for the last time around, because I expected that to be the case, and 5 frames on the bounce to be won from Zhao Zitong's point of view, because that's what he does. You know, if he wins 4 frames on the bounce, he's usually one of those players that doesn't take a second invitation to get over the finish line. Maybe different here in Sheffield, because there's different air, there's different rules, and there's different oppositions here as well. Really good re-rack, to be fair, there, because it seemed like he was very quick. And this time around, it is going to be Liam Highfield to try and take us away on frame number 16 to get started. He seems to be taking a really narrow line there in relation to, he wasn't hitting the second red to me, he was hitting the first one from the left, but it may have just been the camera angle confusing me there a little bit. So, what do you do if you're Zhao here? He's got a red to be taken alongside the right side rail. Little risk of leaving out a red, I will say that. So is he going to go for it? The answer is, he probably will. Because you can't play a safety shot out of that red. So if you're going to... Ooh, this is nasty though. I didn't know that was straight. That changes things for me, and it should have changed things for him. The fact that was straight should have been a refusal for him. You can't be taking a shot like that away, because even if you play that one perfectly straight, he's still going to have that cue ball to be planted onto the right side rail. That was a wrong shot for you to go, and no surprise to me that he's missed that one. And yeah, a bit of a weird shot selection, but you can still afford to be doing that when you're 9-6 ahead. So let's see the chances he's left out away to Liam Highfield. Is he going to be able to take the shred away? He is. He's lost the cue ball there. He's lost the cue ball for the black though, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play for anything. He's looking at the lowest of those reds. He needs to be absolutely spot on with his position on the black here though, in relation to the pot success of making the black to hit the target, but at the same time, he needs to be making sure that cue ball is going to travel towards the left-hand side of the table here in the next couple of shots. Has he got that one? Oh, just about. I thought he was going to miss that one, to be fair. But he got the black in. Clearly, the fact that he was playing for this shot, he's going to be able to get through to the reds. Well, this is what I said. Sometimes when you lose the first frame, it could be down to either you find yourself a decent opportunity in the different, in a different frame there, or you're going to have to try and take it until you get the easy chance. And he may take you all the way to be waiting for that one. So, yeah, for now, you can't really criticise Zhao for anything in the previous frame. You can criticise him for this one, though, because as I said, as soon as I seen that it was straight of a red for him to be taking, then that should have been a refusal for him straight away. That wasn't the case. And as I said, you can be doing that at 9-6. You can't be doing that at 9-7, though. He needs to be trying to put it down to the careful game of his own. Please 10-6. Well, it doesn't look like it for now. But we've seen numerous mistakes from Highfield beforehand, so maybe another one on the way. But as I say, after a century break of 101, could have easily been a break of 135 points exactly. So right now it's going to be a bit of a response there from Liam, that he's certainly going to have 125 points without answer from Zhao Zitong's point of view. Taking another red towards the left corner, and he seems to have played for the pink here, which means he's probably about to move on to the second stage of the frame here in relation to the reds. They're bound to be taken all next to the pink spot. He's got one more red at the top end of the table. I'm pretty sure that was the one which Zhao Ziton has missed. And somehow he's managed to go from the right corner all the way towards the brown spot. But yeah, that of course leaves you with a great chance that if you're going to be on the lower side of a blue, you can potentially try and go for a shot which will leave that cue ball to be heading to the top edge of the table without having to think too much about not having any reds out there. Yeah, I mean, he got onto the cue ball there, which sent the whites flying a little bit, which makes it even less of a control there because they're just showing the replay there of Zhao Ziton's shot at the starting point of the frame. It was borderline, but I would still say it's just about acceptable to be doing that in frame number 16. You can't be doing that on the next frame, though, because this is when it can get really dangerous for you. Just because, you know, Ziton managed to win 4 frames. If Highfield wins this one, he's going to be halfway there to make it a decider. And I'll tell you what, put my hands up and say, if it is going to be a decider, then I ain't predicting nothing in that one. Because the fact that Highfield would have been able to take this one to go all the way, for me, is going to be beyond a joke. He's still quite far away from that being the case, but he certainly has been on the right path for the last couple of frames. Played another great shot there on the pink, on the red. The pink is going to be out of play for the while. But he's still got the black, he's still got the blue, and he's still got numerous of those reds to be available to him. The good thing I will say, we're not seeing... I was just about to realise that I was potentially going to jinx him before he was about to play his shot. We're not really seeing those bad mistakes there. Yes, I know we've seen a bad mistake on the black from Ziton's point of view, but at least they're not flying in twice per frame or something. It's once that you see that per 2 or 3 frames there, and then, you know, that may be down to certainly the standard of play, the sharpness of the match, getting the better of the 2 players. And fatigue is probably a little bit too early, even for Highfield there, as much as he has played 4 of those matches before this one, and that was close. I don't know how that red dropped into the left middle, because he caught the jaw of the little pocket, and he's played that shot with real power, which usually are the 2 components for you to be giving the turn back to your opponent, which would have not been, you know, brilliant to Zhao anyway, because he was playing for the black. He would have had the only hope for him to be getting a starter would have been that red that Highfield had missed. And that probably would have been a very opportunistic anyway. In the meantime, of course, that red has dropped in. He's now taking the black as well. It was a little bit straight, so had to just take the damage limitation shot. Play the shot with backspin, get himself lined up for a shot into the middle. And probably take the blue here, or the ball colours. Play the shot with real power, which makes it, I'm going to say easier sometimes, but that's usually the way for you to be lined up for the top side of a blue. I felt like the plan for him would have been to be on the wrong side of blue. You can't take the yellow because that doesn't leave it with enough space for the cue ball to be taken. So what's he going to be here? Is he going to try and take that cue ball into those reds? He has. Is he going to be on one? Not sure. Now I am sure he's not going to be on one. Wow, that is... Is that careless? Because I am going to say it is careless, because he didn't have to be doing that. He could have easily taken 2 more reds away. Right now he's on for a 1-4-4. It's not too bad, to be fair. Over 53 points of a lead. One of those reds to be on the cushion, and especially if he plays it safe to a decent extent there, he could still be lined up with by far being the favourite here for the frame. But I'm not sure whether I would say it's going to be enough there to stop the potential of a comeback from Zhao Ziton, because he's still going to put it down to 70% for Highfield to win this frame, and then 30% for Zhao Ziton, which is good enough, because that 30 could easily transition into 60 if he manages to get himself the first chance on the board. So in the end, Highfield does decide to play safe, and the break of 53 points sees him to go back to his seat here, and leave the turn back to Zhao Ziton here. So yeah, it's taking a little bit of Lucasade there, it would seem. So yeah, it's just going to be down to take a red towards the left-hand side of the table here from Zhao, because once again, in the previous 2 frames or so, his safety game has been absolutely atrocious. So this is a lot better, as long as that cue ball is going to stop before reaching the yellow pocket, which he will. And I say a lot better, I've just realised that he's put one of those reds to be safe, which is exactly what Highfield wants to see. But at this stage, it's probably nothing to worry about too much. You need to try and work your way into the chance. The first chance into 1.5 frames and the first chance in 160 points. This may be close. That was way too close there for the cue ball to be rattling in the jaws. In the end, it just about caught the side cushion rather than the jaw. And he still left that cue ball to be underneath the bulk line. But at least he's going to be, well, having a good element of safety here. He still leaves out a red potentially available here for Xington, but the question is, can he take this one away? The answer is he can't. Yeah, once again, those type of shots are the killer when you're not playing well because, you know, the cue ball on the cushion, the red with a really precise shot that needs to be taken on. The good news was the backup, but he hasn't actually managed to bring that cue ball with too much power. Clearly trying to leave a little bit of a fraction for him to try and be lined up for the yellow. Right now, the same red that he's missed could be about to be taken by Highfield. He would have been had he made that one into the pocket, logically. But that wasn't quite the case at the end of it. And, well, can Zhao go for the similar shot into the left corner? It's probably going to be way too wide for him to be taking a shot like that. So, yeah, I'm not too sure in relation to what's he going to be doing here. Yeah, he probably has to be doing that shot just for the safety play, to be fair, because he doesn't want to put that red towards the left corner too close to it, to be fair. So he can't take that red towards the right corner because there's simply not enough space for the whites to be heading there. So all he had to do was to play that shot into the corner, and that was the safest thing he could have done out there. And that was by far the best thing that he could have done with that red to be taken into the corner. Fantastic shot there from Zhao with how wide the line was. Well, surely this is going to be the statement of a champion if from this position he does manage to recover and be the winner of the frame. Still, I feel like the first couple of shots are going to be the ones that will tell us the whole picture. The cue ball is going to stop a little bit short there on the pace. When I say a little bit, a lot short. He's still going to have this red to be played into the left corner with a rest, but it's not going to be a nice thing for you to be doing out there. And is he going to be going for a red next to the left corner there? Because it is quite close to the black ball cushion, but it's not quite dead on the cushion. And, well, I feel like that was a bit ambitious there from Zhao Xington. And 5 points is not a bad reward for 2 really good shots and then 1 really bad shot that he's played. So 48 points of a difference, 83 at the table. What's he going to be there for Zhao Xington or Liam Highfield, of course, respectively? Because I feel like Liam is probably going to have a similar type of a shot to be taken as the one that we've seen from Zhao Xington previously. So he decides just to try and keep another red safe. I feel like it's not really doing himself too much of a favour there, because as much as he's getting those reds to be in a safe place, he's getting all of them to be bunched up, which makes it a bigger area to target. And sometimes that's going to be putting you under a disadvantage there, rather than giving you any sort of a benefit over your opponent, especially when you have got someone against, well, someone like Zhao Xington to be against you. For now, still 48 points of a difference and 83 at the table as it stands. So Zhao just seems like he's taking a little bit of time here just to realise what's going to be happening here. And whether he wants to try and play this one safe or not remains to be seen. But to me, I would be really surprised if this match is gonna, if this frame is gonna be won by Zhao Xington because of the difficulty of those reds, and especially with how long he's taken on this safety. Clearly, just trying to get that cue ball to be somewhat close in behind the yellow and blue, with the blue being the color closest to the yellow spot. And it's a decent line. It's a really good line out there, but he just needs to have a little bit more of pace. Not sure he got enough of that one though, and the cue ball may be blocked off by the yellow from those 6 from the 6 reds on the left hand side, and it is. But what's it going to be in relation to the reds on the right hand side of the table here, and in the middle point of it? Because of course, technically, it is easier for you to try and roll up to the 5 reds on the left hand side here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that whilst guaranteeing that he's not going to leave any one of those reds away. Seems to have taken that with power. So let's see what's going to happen here. Because, well, it seems like he's got a really nice touch for one of those reds. That is the case, so it's going to be put this work for nothing there for Zhao. And yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of time until it goes for something which is going to be, rather than opportunistic, it's going to be a little bit reckless out there. For now, seems like he's got a little bit of patience left in the bag. And he's just going to try and play a safety shot out of the red that he's going to have the cue ball to be the closest to. So, yeah, just thinking about the way to get that cue ball up and underway to the safe place for him. Probably under a thinking process of trying to get one of those reds to be taken towards the right middle. And he's gone for it. Wow, sometimes attack is the best form of defense. And I said, he is going to go for the reckless shot there. That was reckless, and that was brilliant. He still needs to have plenty more of those brilliant shots, and only then he's going to be the one to be winning the frame. He's got the black in as well. He pushed one of those reds towards the corner. I mean, that is going to be the ultimate frame for Zhao to win. 40 points behind, 75 at the table. Yeah, he's going to have to try and take all the difficult reds away, or is he? He's thinking about it, but then he realizes that for now, it's still fine in relation to if he leaves a couple of those, if he takes all the easier reds away and then he misses a difficult one, if it's going to be down to one more red that Highfield will take, it won't be enough at that stage. So clearly, sensible approach there for Zhao. Just try and get within, 20 points or so, and then that will leave Highfield with having a bit of a necessity to try and take that frame closer to himself rather than try and play, very much defensive and just make sure that Zhao is not going to be getting anywhere near those reds. For now, still finds himself 32 points down, 67 at the table. So plenty of points there to try and win this frame, but plenty of difficulties as well. Is he going to try and hammer that red home and try and bring that cue ball to be lined up onto those reds? He wasn't, whether he was intentional or not, but he certainly missed all of them. So now this is the shot on the black. He doesn't want to be straight, and he does seem like he's going to have to try and play this shot with topspin, which makes me feel like he was a little bit too straight for that one. So once again, just edging out those reds one to another. It's a break of 24 points, which in this position is still going to be a great achievement there. 32, and he may be a real threat for the frame to be won. It's going to be one shot too many, and he gets a little bit lucky not to leave that red away. So 24 points now, and it is going to change the picture a little bit. 24 points, both the break of Zhao that is about to end, but also the advantage out there. Even if the match stops on 6 score, Highfield did a great journey. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's certainly done better than I thought, whether he is going to be by one more frame. And he's managed to have a couple of those scrappy frames to be won. So it's a couple of really good performances there from Liam Highfield, especially the frame number, frame number 15, and then also frame number 5. The breaks of 86 and 101, probably the highlight of what could have been had he been playing his best snooker out there. So, not in Europe, could you please remind me where I can watch the matches live through app or website? If you're not in Europe, it's going to be a little bit different because I'm pretty sure, TNT is not really going to be available for the abroad audience though. So I would say you're going to have to try and do that from the streaming thing, which may be doing that on the WST app, WST Play. But because it's going to be internationally and across the globe there, just for places that are not going to be in Europe, in China or India, or, Malaysia or something like that, where they've got the rights for it. So it may be TNT, but I don't really know. But as I say, I feel like your best thing is going to be all down to streaming, because the streaming platform, the whole thing about it is that it's available globally for you, apart from those specific regions. WST Play, I'll try. I'm in America. Yeah, because America, it doesn't really count towards anything. I'm pretty sure the only thing apart from Europe and Asia is going to be Australia, to be fair, and then he's going to be down to, Brazil, which was surprisingly, America, not a country, okay, the continent, fair enough. As long as you're not in Brazil, then you should be fine for it, because I'm pretty sure it's just the Brazil that has got the specific coverage for it. By the way, Highfield was taking about 4 hours on that shot. Seems to have played that one pretty well in relation to the cue ball, but, he got the red to be in open play, so now it's going to be down to Zhao to try and take this red away. All he needs to do is take those reds one by one, and even if it does take him a century to try and get this frame to be won, then it's all going to be worth it. Right now, it does seem like it will take a little bit longer than that. And there's another red that he's going to miss, and another red that he manages to put somewhat safe out there. Is the next round's best of 25? Yes, exactly. First to 13, best of 25 in the second round, in the quarterfinals. And then it's going to be a one-table format, first to 17 in the semis, and first to 18 in the final as well. Actually, I don't know why, maybe a really stupid thing for me to admit, but I always thought the first two rounds were first to 10, and the quarterfinals was first to 13, then the semi-finals were first to 17, and then final was first to 8. By the way, that's wrong. Don't tell me that was confusing me. That's wrong. The right way is first round is first to 10, then the second and third rounds is first to 13, and then it's first to 17 in the semis, and first to 18 in the final. So behind by 24 points, once again, remaining 59 points out there for Zhao Ziton as he comes back to the table here. At what stage does he try and just bring those reds into the open play without thinking about trying to leave them on there? Because I feel like he's not really doing himself a lot of justice if he's going to try and get himself through to a stalemate, because the longer this takes, to me, the more of a chance Liam Highfield has to try and win this one, and the more pressure there is going to be on Zhao Ziton. I don't know how, but it seems like every single time I say a thing like that, he just seems to hear me from Sheffield, and it's exactly what he's done. He's put the red over the pocket. That's not really what I meant, but at least he gets us out of a stalemate. So this was the best chance for a player to beat Ziton. From semis, it would be way too difficult. Big scorer, isn't he? It is, but at the same point, you feel like if Highfield can do it, and he can get 6.5 frames out of him, then surely, if someone no disrespect to him, by the way, but if someone is going to be playing better than him, and this cue ball is going to be close to the middle, and he's going to slow down just about in time there before he reaches it. So the situation with Highfield, he may still take a couple more frames away from it, and you never quite know with the way the Bruxelles done it against Gilbert. I know it's probably the 5th time that I mentioned it, but anyway, still relevant. It's not going to be when if Ziton gets past the first round. But yeah, in terms of points, 25 as the advantage. It's about to be 31 with the pink. Let's see what's he going to try and do with this red. And he's trying to make contact with it. And that clearly wasn't the case. He's going to be frustrated about it. And that leaves him with 31 points as the advantage. 53 at the table. Well, it would not necessarily be the match-winning shot, would it? Because he still needs a red after that. So I don't really understand what's the whole angriness about it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, if he plays... Yeah, absolutely. Like, the good thing, I completely understand there. The first to 13 is going to be 3 sessions. For me, an extra session is the session where Zhao Ziton is going to be able to discover that he is basically somewhat close to Snook God. Because we've seen that for him. Sometimes he does it later, sometimes he does it earlier. You see the way he's done that against Li Beifan. The reason why, despite, Beifan having such a good streak in the third session, it didn't really help him because of a lead that Zhao Ziton had in the first and second sessions. The same thing happened against Wakeland. It's just that he didn't have a good run at the end of it. Zhao Ziton was just flying through the gears, and he didn't have to go. He was flying through the gears until he reached the 4th one, and then he just stayed at it for the entirety of the match. And same against Ronnie, same against Williams. Nobody challenged him. And yeah, it was one of the most confident wins that you can ever dream about, because 6 frames is the advantage against Williams, 10 frames is the advantage against Ronnie, 9 frames is the advantage against Wakeland, 3 frames against Li Beifan, that was the closest of the main draw. Then it was 6 against Jones, 2 against Lesser, 2 against Long Zhehyun. I can't remember against KY Chung or Liu Hao Tang, to be fair, so I'm pretty sure it was quite comfortable for him as well. I was watching the final against Jump. He had his chances 5-3, could have been even the match there. Not sure which one. Oh, you mean the final against, what's it called, the Tour Championship. He had his chances 5-3, could have been even the match there. Yeah, listen, the thing about Chomp is that he was playing absolutely dreadful, and he admitted that. He's clearly was way below his standard of play of even what we've seen against Robertson. So let's have a look as Highfield now finds himself half snookered out there. So is he going to try and bounce that cue ball into the reds? Is he going to leave it over the pocket? He will. Is he going to have the cover for the black? He won't. Well, this is going to take a turn there, and he's going to take a turn in favour of Zhao here. Still, 31 points is going to be a whole lot for him to try and cover. But for now, at least he's in there with a shout. And what do you do in relation to the other two reds? They're going to be just about as close to the black ball cushion, with one of them, to me, from this angle, does look like it can be potted. So what you have to do, probably, to me, is to try and hold that cue ball. Well, you can't hold the cue ball for the black unless you're going to put this one around the world, which is risky in itself. You probably have to try and hold it for the blue or the brown here and just do it off the right side. But I understand why he doesn't want to do it, because it's probably going to be down to just not having the ability to try and get the perfect lineup for the Reds, unless you're going to be in, you know, this specific criteria, which is impossible for you to achieve off the brown and blue. But yeah, if he feels like that, he can always try and play a snooker in behind the blue, get himself a couple of those points on the board. But of course, he can get 7 points if he takes the black in. But it's not even going to be down to points, to be fair. It's going to be down to having the position of one of those two reds. And yeah, something that we have certainly seen a shift in. We haven't seen Zhao to be taking so much time on those shots. So he's clearly going to be feeling a little bit nervous, which is, you know, once again, it's going to be purely from his own words. The more time that he takes, usually, is the more nervous that he is. He's trying to take that one all the way. It's going to be close. He doesn't want to hit it from underneath, and he has hit that one from underneath. That was a really good effort there, but unfortunately, he's hit that one too well. And he got right underneath those reds, and still, another step closer. Another red and colour combination that he's taken out there. Highfield from here cannot afford any mistakes. Pressure is on him too. It is. But it's a bad shot there from Zhao, unless he gets the green to be brought into play. That wasn't the case. Yeah, they're showing the backspin, which, once again, I don't really understand what that's all about. If that's going to be in relation to the shot for Liam Highfield, then you can't be adding backspin here because of how close the cue ball is going to be to the ball cushion. But also, the problem for Highfield now is that this red and the colour probably doesn't mean anything to him. He's got 26 points of a gap. If he takes this red away, it probably helps Zhao because it speeds up the process, and he takes that red away. Well, he may as well get the snooker lines up here because he's not going to be on the collar. And I suppose in that way it helps him, but 27 points of a lead with 35 at the table. Yeah, to be fair, I could see him missing out on the red twice there because of how far away it is going to be from the cue ball. But he needs to play this one absolutely perfectly well. And the fact that Zhao managed to take it down to the last red is probably a little bit of kudos to him, because it looked like he was going to be out of this frame way before this point. And Highfield still finds himself in a pretty comfortable position, but probably not about as comfortable as he could have been, as we still await a decision there from Liam to be made. And the decision is he's going to put the green safe, which is a wise move. And let's see if he's left a chance there for Zhao to try and swerve in between the black and the pink. Not sure what the answer is going to be, but I feel like the answer may be no, because it's not really an animated reaction from Highfield, which we've seen plenty of already so far. Well, he's trying to swerve around it. He can't afford to miss it. He hasn't missed it. He got the contact on the red. He put that one safe. So there clearly was an animated reaction from Highfield, because he could not afford to be leaving out a swerve available there in between the pink and the blue, the pink and the black. So now this is going to be down to a battle for the reds, and then of course the green to be out of position as well. So yeah, whenever I say it for this frame, it always seems like there is a couple of variables there preventing Zhao from winning the frame, but at least he's still just about in the equation. So this is another interesting shot there, borderline on a bad safety and a good safety from Highfield, because the cue ball is going to be dead on the cushion for the bulk. The red is going to be in open play and potentially possible. Pot success from long range, 70% there from Zhao. Let's see if it's going to be 75. It looks good. It's not good enough. And where's the red going to finish? He could not keep getting away with those sort of mistakes. And as I said, that frame was always going to be down to Liam Highfield to lose. And now this red is going to be frame ball. You could praise Zington all you can, all you want for that comeback that he had. But in the end point, it's not going to matter one bit. And at least he wasn't taking a whole lot of distance and a whole lot of time. It was pretty much, you know, the one without pain, without too much pain at least. But it is going to be 2 frames on the bounce that he loses. He does that again, and it's going to be a decider. And at that stage, as I say, hands off the predictions list, because that's going to be the, well, the extraordinary thing in itself. If Highfield manages to find a decider out of it, you know, certainly he's going to be 34 points clear, which, I mean, I'm not sure there is going to be a point for Zhao to be coming back. Probably is, but, you know, I would also expect to see the yellow to disappear. Is he going to reach? He should reach, and he will certainly reach the green pocket. So now it is officially 9 frames to 7. There's not going to be any comeback here from Zhao, and it will be very much a chance for Liam Highfield to try and take... Is he coming back? No, he's not coming back. I was going to say that would have been a little bit ridiculous there. It is going to be a bit of a bathroom break for both of the players, and we return. It is going to be frame number 17. It was never going to be easy, was it? It was never going to be easy at the Crucible Curse in the first round, and Liam Highfield certainly letting the world know that he's still very much in the equation for this match. He needed to win 5 on the bounce. Now he got that list down to 3 on the bounce that he needs to win, and then he is going to be delivering the ultimate shock of the season. Forget about the, you know, I feel like Highfield beating Zington is going to be bigger than Chipchaya beating Ronnie in the final. Look away, says Letitia. Well, yeah, I'm glad I'm genuinely impartial here, because in the World Championship I only have 1 horse in the race. If that would have been Ronnie, I would have been hiding behind the chair, because that would have been absolutely breathtaking stuff. But yeah, I feel like with Ronnie that would have been a little bit worse, because you know, like, his head could go, honestly, and it's going to be very much down to just praying for an easy chance, and then even then, it's not really going to be down to a guarantee. By the way, 3 hours, and it's 5 frames there that we finished in the match of Barry Hawkins against Stevens. It does seem like a bit of a grind out work there for these two. In the meantime, I mean, we've been going pretty slowly, and we finished how many of those? 16 makes it 7. Well, yeah, we've been running really slowly as well, and we're still 2 frames clear of them. Hawkins takes a nice red away, but he's nowhere near to be on the black as he loses the cue ball, and that probably has been the story of the entire match out there. As we still wait, I mean, I said that the 15 frame was going to be the last one. I didn't say a word about frame number 16. What's it going to be about frame number 17 here? Well, really interesting to see there, as we see Zhao to be making his way back onto the arena. Liam Highfield is about to follow him as well. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how I've never realised how small that thing is for 2 tables in Sheffield. It's absolutely extraordinary. I bet if you were there in real life, you would honestly, absolutely, like, couldn't believe it, how tight that area is, because that's literally wide enough for 1 table out there. I'm glad they're renovating it, honestly, because I know from the atmosphere point of view, it is brilliant, but listen, you can't be having a World Championship to be held in here without renovation. Let's be honest with you. Like, I'm pretty sure majority of you will agree with me, because that's not the pinnacle of snooker, is it? When you have got 2, I'm never a fan of those 2 players sitting so close to each other, and of course that's something that you have to do when you've got the Crucible to be split in 2 parts. But never a fan of it, and in fact I'm a huge hater of it as well, because I know for a fact that it must be so awkward there, sitting there, especially if it's tense, especially if it's close. I mean, I wonder how that actually has got this far. I know I'm probably exaggerating it a little bit, but still. Anyway, it's a break-off shot there from Zington. Is he going to have a chance to be given away? The answer is we'll have to find out later, because Highfield doesn't go for anything risky for now. The screen in the center of the arena is very, very close of the players. Don't know how they play. Honestly, man, like, it's so close. It is so close to the table that I'm genuinely thinking about. You know, the clubs that you play where you genuinely have the queue to be up against the wall, and that's what it's going to be in the World Championship. I mean, come on. I can understand all the sympathy stuff, all the atmosphere stuff, but that doesn't make it appropriate for you to be having conditions like that. I mean, that is... I genuinely can't believe I've never realised that. But that's the reality of it, and yeah, I can't wait for 2028 when we're finally going to see a renovation. I'm not sure if he's going to change the whole format, by the way. I hope it does. I know it's certainly going to improve the capacity, but yeah, maybe it is going to be a little bit of a new whole thing. In the meanwhile, it is going to be potentially a same old stuff here for Highfield, because this was the shot of the match for me with the long red. He's messed that one up. No, that was the other one that he messed up with the brown. Is he going to try and make it a repeat? No, he wasn't even looking for that red that I was talking about. So you see that he used all of his mana on that particular shot. If Higgins wins this frame, Highfield wins this frame, he might finally see Xington under pressure. Yeah, but listen, I feel like we're not going to see him under pressure until... Yeah, to be fair, I can't understand what you mean, because if you lose 3 frames on a bounce and you're only 1 frame away from victory, then you have to be under pressure. But yeah, you know, it still would expect him to win it. Whether he will or not is going to be another matter. So yeah, for now he just has to try and grind out the first chance, because he didn't really have those in the previous couple of frames, because the one that he had in the previous frame was at the point where he lost out the frame already. What was that, by the way? Well, if he's going to play like that, he's not going to get a chance for the rest of the frame. That was horrible there from Xington. That is certainly going to leave him to be sat in his chair watching snooker from the TV. Oh, or is it? Wow, that is a horrible miss from Highfield. That was a sitter that he missed. Good news, he was playing for the black, of course. And what's he going to be here for Xington? Surely he's going to be able to find something easier than... the red to be taken into the green pocket. I mean, Highfield must be absolutely fuming with himself. Yeah, he's going to try and cue this red away. Full power. No chance to make that one in. No chance at all. I can't believe he's actually gone for that in his mind, because yes, he could have been left with something easier, but he's got absolutely no chance of making that shot with 100% of power that he's applied to it. In his prime, he probably misses that one 2 times out of 10. Right now, he misses that one 8 times out of 10 to me, if not 9. Probably the most difficult shot for you to play from the attacking perspective. Just when you try and force that cue ball to be played with so much power, it just takes all the control away, and very difficult to control the cue ball, but also impossible for you to control the pot success as well. And listen, it's going to be a chance here for Liam. He needs to get that cue ball to be working in his favour, though. He got the red in, and is he going to be on anything? He needs that pink to get past the reds, which he won't be, and he's not going to be on the pink anyway. So, black period for Zhao right now. It is a bit of that, but I wouldn't say Highfield is firing on all cylinders. Yes, he had that break of 101 points in frame number 14, but it seems like it's... Sorry, frame number 15. It seems like it's a long way from that now, because it's literally 10 o'clock in the UK. And, well, Highfield certainly doesn't want to go home, because if he goes home right now, he certainly will be down to him not returning back to the Crucible for at least 12 months. And Zhao can spend as much time as he wants here, because he's got around 4 or 5 days until his next match is going to be played in the second round. So yeah, for now, it's going to be just a single point there scored by Highfield. But once again, the position is not necessarily the one that you would dream about for Highfield's point of view. And I'm not sure why he's so busy checking the left-hand side of the table there, because if I was him, I'll be absolutely fuming if he's left a chance away for Zhao Xington here, because I know he's missed out on a couple of those, but it's certainly not going to be the match for the red that he's taken into the green pocket with so much power. It does depend on the angle that he has, if he's got any, because if this one is straight, he probably makes it into the same categories, making that red into the green pocket. He seems to have played this one with topspin, which certainly doesn't suggest that he's going to be straight. Or he's taken another red. He's missed that one away, and he's still managing to get the cue ball safe. So, for now, Liam doesn't seem like he's going to get the run of the ball that he's been getting in the first session. But Zhao doesn't seem like he can get anything going right now. Just seems to have, yeah, as I say, that was always going to be down to that intermission after the 14 frame. I said exactly that. Highfield has got two options. He can either try and make it the best game that he's ever played in the attacking display, which he has done with a break of 101, and then he has to shut down him completely from the attacking aggression as well. That first frame was super important because it genuinely just took that momentum away from Zhao. Even if he was going to be able to keep it after the intermission, there certainly was no debate after that was whether that was going to be the case after that break of 101 points there from Highfield. And now, of course, he had a break of 53, 55 points or whatever. He was able to hold on to that frame, made that 9-7, and now he's just trying to grind out it red by red, colour by colour. And it doesn't seem like it's going too bad for him because he's got Zhao to be running out of gas completely, with no fuel, with no tyres, and putting reds over the right corner again. Is he going to have the backup? No, he won't. Once again, it just seems like if this goes on all the way... Oh, by the way, he does have backup. I don't know how I misjudged that one, but he's got a huge load of backup. He's got 3 reds to be in the way there, so this is going to be interesting. The red is over the pocket, but... I mean, I don't know how I actually thought that he could comfortably get through to this red. And reality is, he's nowhere near to be doing that. So whether that was the intention or not, yeah, to me, from this angle, it certainly suggests that he could have easily, taken this shred away. And Highfield right now is looking to try and go for another sequence of reds to be taken into that red over the corner pocket. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised if this frame is going to be won by 15 points, and 15 of those are going to be reds to be taken away there. Because this is the reality now for Highfield. And it's the best way for you to ensure you don't get the chance away to Zhao. And yeah, he seems to have played this one really well. Had he not had a red to go into the open play, it's applause. It's probably deserved there, but I'm not sure. If Zhao is going to feel like he's going to be put in the corner, he may as well go for that red into the left corner, and I genuinely wouldn't be too shocked if he's going to make that one in. For now, he's looking at the right-hand side of the table, which to me can only mean one thing. He's looking at trying to get that red off the right-hand side of the table, and the only way for him to be doing that is by trying to make a near miss next to the blue, next to the green, and try and take this one to go all the way. Let me just have a look at the camera. Ooh, that's a no for me. That's a no for me. Well, it's a yes for him, which is the only thing that matters. It's a no for me. He's not going to be able to make it past the 3 of them. Well, yeah, you can see last second, there was a just, reality bite that came into play. He's not going to be, he can make it past the green and blue. He can't make it past the green, blue, and another red to hit it onto the side cushion. It needs to be taken into plan B, because that's going to be reckless and that's going to be out of control. Because if you touch any one of those 2, one of those 3, he's going to blow that frame away wide open, especially if you've got a red over the pocket there. The last thing that you want to be doing to Highfield. And, well, maybe he's going to come to my plan right now. Try and take a red into the corner. He's gone for it. He's missed it. And he somehow, has he managed to get somewhat close to bringing that cue ball safe? He has. Yeah, he has, to be fair. So it's not too bad. It's not too good, but it's not too bad either. Because it still leaves Highfield with a chance to be taking a plant here. But he's going to have to try and breach over the green and brown, which does leave him in a difficult position there in terms of his queuing. So, yeah, it's probably going to be down to playing safe, unless he decides that there is going to be a decent enough red for him to be taken. But the problem is, had the green and brown not been there, I guarantee you 95% he goes for that plant, because he's still 9-7 down. He needs to be heading for those shots, and the percentage is going to be in favour of him. Right now, he's going to play that lonely red at the top end of the table. And, well, I'm not sure whether what he was trying to do there, but a little bit surprised with that short selection. And I'm going to change a little bit to surprise because, I mean, let me have another camera angle, because Has he left him and invited him to be taking a plant like that? Oh, he has. That's a mistake to me. And I feel like Zhao was going to be able to take it. Yeah, that was more difficult to miss. That was more difficult to miss than it was for him to pot there. I'm not even going to give him loads of credit. It's a good shot there because of the queuing on the cue ball. And look at that. I mean, he's played that one really well. And even if that second red wasn't there, he could have still made that one in. So this is the first chance. It was a level playing field. And right now, Zhao has got a really good opportunity to try and make this frame away from Liam Highfield. And try and make it his story to be written here. And 10-7 is certainly going to sound a lot better than a decider there and a nervy performance for him, which sometimes he may even take more than 4 days to recover from. And listen, don't forget about that black that he missed off the spot. Certainly don't take anything for granted until he's going to be 2 snookers away from, from safety there from Liam Highfield. But for now, it certainly does seem like that was a horrible mistake by Highfield, by the way. He seemed like he was in full control of that position, and then he goes on and plays a shot like that, which, if he doesn't have a double kiss from the red, he may bring that one into the open play. But even without that being the case, left the plant like that into the corner, which, the second red was way too close for the pocket for you to be leaving a chance like that away. He wasn't even away from the side cushion, which to me is always going to be a good sign for you to make that red in. It's a good shot on the black though from Zhao. As long as he manages to see those reds into the corner, which he has. Played a really risky shot there, but managed to play that one superbly well. Hammers another red home. Player not taking their chances. Yep. And now it is going to be a chance to be taken for Zhao. It's the first one, by the way. Whatever you say about the previous frame, this is the first chance for me where Zhao can try and get over the finish line. And he should. Whether he will or not, we'll have to find out in 40 points time. Whether it's going to be 30 minutes time or 30 points time remains to be seen. So, by far the longest match already that I've ever seen of Zhao, based off 2 sessions. Because 17 frames, if this is going to be the end. 4 hours on the first one, 3 hours and a bit on this one. And he's played another great shot there. Just seems like he's making it easier and easier for himself. Ball spotted, exactly 300 there for Zhao, as he's looking to try and get through to 1.1 thousand worth of those points scored. When Highland did not hit a try at plant, it shows the pressure he's facing. Not really, it shows that, I don't know. No, his one was a lot more difficult though. The question to me, as the black disappears, I always have a little bit of a thinking now that I've seen Zhao to miss an easy black off the spot, although it was into the left corner, which we've seen a couple of those misses for him. Highfield's one was a lot more difficult. I can't blame him for not taking that one on, because that was... He had 2 chances. One when he was having to bridge over green and brown. That is impossible for you to take. That shot is impossible for you to take because he simply won't have enough power for that cue ball to reach the end point. And they had another point where he had 3 of those to be taken away. But the question is, why was this available to Zhao? And why was Liam happy to leave that cue ball into a dangerous position like that? 55 points later, I'm still fighting for the answers. Look at my prediction I told you before the match, 10-7. I don't remember, but I'll trust you on that. I'd said 10-5. No, I said 10-5 out there because at the first session I thought it was going to be 10-4, and then at the second session I said 10-5. So it's not bad, but I was 9-5, and then of course he has taken 2 frames away there. But remember, this is not over yet. We've seen that story in frame number 14. Let's see if we're going to see another chapter of that story, because right now it's 75 points left. 56 points is the advantage, about to make that 62. And make that 63 points of a break here for Zhao. Because he's still looking to try and make it all 70s. As his 4 highest breaks to be achieved in the match, which is still going to be a high scoring match there. Especially if you look at 1.1 thousand worth of points scored. Look at that number. 4 ones there. It certainly has been the number of Zhao so far this season. Number 1, and only because he hasn't had he hasn't seen himself on the tour for the previous season, he's going to be not the world number 1 right now. But now, the pink is in, 70 points of a gap. And Zhao Ziton is clearly going to be through to the second round. Liam played some good snooker. The plan chance, he wasn't given too difficult, even needing to bridge over green and brown. Nah, come on then. If you tell me that this isn't too difficult, it's impossible for you to play that shot with so much power. Nah. It's a miscue, guaranteed. And if it's not a miscue, you're going to be nowhere near the collar. That is, no. It's not even worth a discussion for me. That's outrageous that you're suggesting that was an easy shot for you to take on. The question is, why on earth was he leaving out a chance like that to Zhao Ziton? But listen, probably have to finish off with a positive there. Full credit to Highfield. He's won those 7 frames fair and square. Could have easily won more than those. And right now, it is going to be down to the world champion beginning that Crucible Curse campaign to potentially be put back to absolutely 0, because a break of 87 points now by Zhao Ziton is going to leave him with that cue to be sent towards the side cushion. Could it still be the 3rd century of the match for himself? Could it be the 4th century of the match in total? Look at that side shot, brilliantly taken along the cushion. And now about to make it a wrap there. Nothing to be ashamed, he can be proud. Yes, certainly, listen, it's one of those things. He can't be perfect, and he left himself a little bit too much to do. Having to win 5 frames on the bounce was never going to be easy against the world champion, and especially when the world champion plays a century in the 17th frame. Pressure, what pressure? Zhao Ziton is in the building. Forget about Luca Brissell, forget about Karen Wilson, and their attempt of defending their title. David Gilbert and Li Beifan managed to beat them. Nobody has beaten Zhao Ziton so far at the Crucible here in the last 2 seasons. I'm going to put that out there. He has had some losses in Sheffield beforehand, but can he try and make it with a total clearance of 137 points? It's going to be difficult, but at least we've seen 4 great centuries, 3 of them to go from this young man from China. 29 that he's turned in April, and he may give himself another birthday present, just like it was last year. It's going to be a month late, but he's certainly going to be enjoyable, and he's trying to take that green around the world. He's not going to be able to make that one in, but Liam Highfield is going to offer his hand and say congratulations. It is going to be Zhao Ziton that makes his way through to the second round, and when Zhao is in the mood, no pot is too difficult. That is absolutely right, and now it is going to be Zhao Ziton through to the second round. We're certainly going to see a bit more of the talk of that Crucible Curse, but this is going to be down to a couple more days in advance, because listen, it is now over to you, the likes of Watchalong, the likes of Ronnie O'Sullivan, because Zhao Ziton has certainly managed to do his part of the game, and he's managed to beat Liam Highfield in a really, really enjoyable match from both parties. But at the end point, of course, the enjoyable part for Zhao Ziton is going to be the factor of him winning the match and making sure that he's through to the second round, where you'll play either David Gilbert or Ding Zhuyi for a potential all-Chinese multi-generational derby. And players will up their game here. Well, listen, he's going to have to be a different Zhao Ziton in the first session, but he can try and keep himself to be the same in the second session, because remember, despite Highfield managing to win 2 of those frames, you know, a couple of them could have easily been stolen there by Zhao Ziton had he managed to get himself through to a bit of a better standard of play. But at the end point, he can't criticise him too much. Only man stops Zhao, Ronnie, if he's in good touch. Well, listen, I wouldn't go that far for now. Ronnie needs to focus on his match against Shego Xiong. And then if he's through to the second round, he'll have either Ali Carter or John Higgins as far from ideal match to be placed. But once again, thank you everyone that has tuned in. A great performance for Zhao. In the end, you feel like the fact that he was 5-all with Liam Highfield, and he was able to step up 4 frames on the bounce, 9-5. You know, it was always going to be impossible for Highfield to win 5 frames on the bounce. He got close in relation to 1-2 of those, which, you know, certainly was the starting point. But in the 17th frame, after a lengthy safety battle, Zhao Ziton managed to come away with a century break of exactly 111 points. And then it is going to be down to seeing the world number 1 of Trump against Gary Wilson. Feel free to tune in for that one on the Tuesday morning. Then it's going to be O'Sullivan in the afternoon, then Trump in the evening, and then O'Sullivan on the afternoon on Wednesday once again. We'll have to wait and see. Is there going to be anyone to challenge Zhao Ziton, or is the Crucible Curse finally going to become a myth that is in the past, another record to be broken by the Cyclone of Zhao. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. And once again, feel free to tune in back for the Tuesday match. Watchalong against Gary Wilson. It will certainly be anything but comfortable for Watchalong, as Wilson is going to be the one to try and challenge to make it through to the second round to play either Zhao or Saint Fei. Speak to you soon and stay tuned in for more snooker as the World Championship is finally underway.